Celestial Immortal Clan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 351 Kyukyo arrives. Seeing Chen Ziya, her mother and her aunt, they were communicating cordially, as if they had endless things to say. And they were holding Chen Ziya's hands one by one, looking very relaxed and harmonious. Lin Changqing was also very happy. With the attitude of the elders, Chen Ziya should not have to worry now. However, although Chen Ziya had only come for the first day, he could clearly feel that his family status must have dropped by one level. After a while, the 6 grandfathers, the 2nd grandfathers, and the 3rd grandfathers came one after another, all of whom were important members of the family. Of course, there must be more than so many, and there were some other people, but they could not come for various reasons. For example, the great-grandfather was responsible for external affairs, so he was not on the family. For example, the 2nd uncle and the 14th uncle had secret missions and could not appear for the time being. There were also some people who were not very related, such as the 5th grandfather who was recuperating, and the clan leader did not notify them to come. After the most important people came, the clan leader introduced Chen Ziya to the elders. Including Chen Ziya's identity and origin, they were all explained to everyone present. Others were fine, knowing a little bit. But the 2nd grandfather and the 3rd grandfather, after hearing that Chen Ziya was the descendant of the great-grandmother, respected her greatly. Of course, this was also their respect for the great-grandmother. But the clan leader did not mention to everyone that she and Lin Changqing would leave Qinghai after a while, but only focused on her relationship with Lin Changqing. Then, Chen Ziya also greeted the elders one by one, and everyone exchanged for a while about the two of them, and after discussing it, the 2nd grandfather selected an auspicious day, 3 days later, to hold a small ceremony for Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya. So during these 3 days, Chen Ziya was not suitable to live in Lin Changqing's house. Finally, it was decided to live in the courtyard, specially prepared by the Lin family for VIPs, which was the courtyard where the representatives of each family lived during the 14th uncle's foundation building ceremony. Fortunately, these courtyards are often cleaned by special people, so they are also very clean and tidy, and they can move in after a little cleaning. Finally, the mother and aunt accompanied Chen Ziya to the courtyard to rest. After they left, the elders began to tease Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing should be the first person in their generation to have a Taoist partner. If Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya were faster, their child might be the first person in the 9th generation of the Lin family, the wrong generation. So the elders praised him, especially the 2nd grandfather, who directly praised him for finding a good granddaughter-in-law for the Lin family, which made him embarrassed. The elders laughed and went back to their own things, and would come back to attend the ceremony of Lin Changqing and his family in 3 days. In this way, the matter finally came to an end, and Lin Changqing also breathed a sigh of relief. He said goodbye to the clan leader and grandfather, and returned to the yard alone. The house was empty and there was no one. I don't know if my sister Lin Changqing ran away to Chur. So he simply didn't stay at home, and flew directly to Aoi and peek on his sword. Sure enough, Lin Changqing and Lin Changlian were both in the yard. The two of them were dealing with some of the insects they had caught, picking out the tender and thin meat from their bodies and putting them together. When she saw Lin Changqing, Lin Changling was so happy that she couldn't help but shouting, "Brother, that's great, you're finally back. Just a few days ago, the babies of Chui and Chur were hatched, you should go and have a look. Sister Changlian and I have been catching insects for several days, you can't forget what you promised me." In fact, when Lin Changqing landed, he saw them dealing with the insect meat and guessed that Chui's offspring should have hatched. So he quickly released Chui from the spirit beast bracelet. It went out with Lin Changqing this time and hadn't seen its own children yet. Let it go and be intimate with Chur, and then Xiu would take a look at its children. After saying hello to Lin Changlian, he also went over to take a look, and it really looked like it was just a few days old. After all, Chui was raised by him and knew what the golden-winged bird looked like at all stages. At present, the little guys have not started to grow hair yet, and their whole bodies are pink and tender. However, Lin Changqing can still feel that one of the young birds is stronger and a little bigger than the other two. Obviously different from the other two, he knew in his heart that this little guy was probably the mutant, which was Lin Changling's target. At this time, Lin Changqing and the others also came over, pulled Lin Changqing and gestured slightly. Sure enough, it was the strongest one. At this time, Lin Changqing was also hesitant in his heart, a little undecided. These young birds had just been born, and theoretically it was the best time to contract them. But he was a little reluctant. After all, the first and second graders were parents for the first time, and he didn't know how to ask them to give their children to others. In the end, he decided to wait a few days before talking about this matter, at least until these young birds were a little bigger, and let the first and second graders get along with them for a while. In fact, he had considered keeping the first and second graders' children and feeding them himself, but considering the growth limit of the golden winged bird, I gave up. After all, Chuai was just an exception. Not every golden winged bird could successfully mutate. Even if it was Chuai, Lin Changqing was still a little confident that he could help it advance to the second level, but it was probably impossible to help it advance to the third level. It had not mutated, and the upper limit of its racial talent was here. Unless there was some magical medicine that could defy the heavens in the future, Chuai would be like this. They fed the insect meat they had just prepared to the three little guys, and then the three of them rested in the pavilion in the yard. Lin Changqing took out the tea set and made green jade tea for them. After drinking a few cups of spiritual tea, his sister Lin Changqing could not sit still. Holding Lin Changqing's hand, she asked, "Brother, when will you give me my kiukyu?" Lin Changqing was puzzled by what his sister said. He looked at her and asked, "What do you mean, your kiukyu?" His sister said with a smile, "It's the strongest young golden winged bird. Kiukyu is the name I gave it." Lin Changqing was speechless and couldn't help rolling his eyes. His sister and Lin Changlian both laughed. Chapter 352 Phoenix Egg. Seeing them like this, Lin Changqing said unhappily, "Wait for about half a month. When they start to grow hair, it will be easier for you to raise them. At the same time, you can let Chuai, Chuer and their children spend some time together." At this time, Lin Changlian said a little embarrassedly, "Brother Jiu, can you give me a golden winged bird too? I also want to raise one. Anyway, when it grows up, it can go out to find insects to eat by itself, and it doesn't need to consume too many resources. I will use the remaining request to offset yours. Can you give it to me once?" When Lin Changqing heard this, he was a little embarrassed. After thinking about it, he still couldn't agree. So he hurriedly explained, "A long time ago, the third grandfather had come to the door and said this. That is, in the future, the descendants of Chuai, except for the family members who have their own contracts, the extra young birds will be handed over to the family monster hunting team for contract raising. With these golden winged birds, we can reduce the casualties of the tribe when hunting monsters. This has been agreed long ago, and you don't have to participate in the monster hunting, so I can't agree to you." Lin Changlian was a little disappointed, but he also knew that what Lin Changqing said made sense. Indeed, the family's demon hunting team needed these golden winged birds more, and she also wanted to reduce the casualties of the tribe, so she didn't say anything. However, she had an idea and said, "Then you still owe me one last request. I have decided that you should help me find a young spiritual bird that is similar to the golden winged bird. Of course, if it can be more powerful than the golden winged bird, that would be even better. Anyway, the more powerful, the better." Lin Changqing rolled his eyes at Lin Changlian's request and said to her unhappily, "The more powerful, the better? Then I'll get you a phoenix egg, which is definitely much more powerful than the golden winged bird." Lin Changlian laughed non-stop after hearing this. She also knew that Lin Changqing was speaking in a sarcastic way. But she dared to agree, so she said with a smile, "Really? That's great, then I'll wait for your phoenix egg, and I don't want anything else." Seeing that Lin Changlian was so shameless, he didn't want to pay attention to her. Anyway, in 2.5 months, he and Chen Ziya would leave Qinghai. It's still unknown when we'll meet again. Maybe she'll have forgotten it by then. The three of them drank the spiritual tea in the pavilion. When they finished the tea, it was getting dark, so they left Aoyan Peak together. When they reached the main peak, the brother and sister separated from Lin Changlian and went home. On the way home, Lin Changqing asked, "Brother, didn't you go to ask for marriage? Why are you back so soon? How did the marriage proposal go?" Lin Changqing laughed. His sister was quite smart. Just now, Lin Changlian was here and knew that there were outsiders. He didn't mention it, so he couldn't ask. He reached out and touched his sister's little head, then said, "With your brother's help, The marriage proposal will definitely be successful. And now your sister-in-law is already in our house. How can it not be successful? Lin Changqing couldn't help rolling her eyes when she heard it. She didn't believe what her brother said at all. How could he just go to ask for marriage and then bring his Taoist partner back? It was obviously a lie. Seeing that her brother was not telling the truth, Lin Changqing did not want to pay attention to him, and the two returned to their own yard. As soon as she stepped into the living room, Lin Changqing saw that her aunt was talking to a very beautiful sister. An idea suddenly flashed in her mind. Could it be that what her brother just said was true? At this time, her aunt said, "Linger is back, come here and meet your sister-in-law." Lin Changqing was stunned for a moment. She really guessed it, but she reacted immediately. So she smiled and greeted immediately, saying, "Hello, sister-in-law. I am your sister Lin Changqing." "Sister-in-law, you are so beautiful." Everyone couldn't help laughing when they heard Lin Changqing say this. Chen Ziya was also very happy. It seemed that Lin Changqing also liked her, and it seemed that she should be easier to get along with. So she said, "Hello, Sister Linger. I often hear your brother remind you that you are smart and beautiful. When I met you today, I felt that you are much more beautiful than your brother described. And it seems that the gift I prepared for you should be very suitable for you." When Lin Changqing heard that there was a gift to receive, she immediately became happy and her little mouth immediately became very sweet. She said to Chen Ziya, "Thank you, beautiful sister-in-law, you are so kind. If my brother bullies you in the future, I will definitely stand on your side." When the aunt and Chen Ziya heard her say this, they both laughed again. Then Chen Ziya took out the gift prepared for her from the storage bag and handed it to her. Lin Changqing took it and opened it. There was a beautiful white dress inside. At this time, Chen Ziya introduced, "Linger, this is a magic weapon, the versatile Nishan skirt. After you have fully refined it, you can change it into different styles and colors as you wish. It is equivalent to having many different skirts, and this thing is a magic weapon, and it can also provide a certain degree of defense." Lin Changqing heard it and jumped up with joy. This gift was so much in line with her heart. Now a little girl like her likes this kind of thing the most, not to mention her. The aunt who was listening nearby couldn't help but become curious in her heart. This thing has a great attraction to every woman. Lin Changqing held the jade box and said to Chen Ziya, "It's so nice to be a beautiful sister-in-law. I like you the most." After that, without waiting for others to react, she ran back to her room. Lin Changqing knew that his sister must have gone to refine this gift as soon as possible. After a while, Grandpa and Father also came back, and soon all the spiritual meals prepared by Mother were brought out. Everyone was preparing to call Lin Changqing out for dinner. Unexpectedly, at this time, Lin Changqing was wearing a new skirt and walked out. She said to everyone proudly, "Look, everyone, I will show you a magic trick." Then she turned around and changed into a set of skirts of different colors and styles. She turned around again and changed into another set. She turned around 7 or 8 times in a hurry. Everyone was amazed and asked what was going on. Lin Changqing had to explain the function and effect of the ever-changing Nishan skirt. Grandpa and Father didn't care much and just praised it. Mother and Aunt seemed to like it very much. They asked Chen Ziya where she bought it. I guess she was going to get one for herself. Chapter 353, a Xiang Gang number. When Chen Ziya told them that the item could only be bought at Wanbao Pavilion, and the price was about the same as a mid-grade spiritual weapon, and the stock was very limited, they gave up. However, Lin Changqing kept it in mind and planned to buy a few more items when he had the chance and give them as gifts next time. After his sister Lin Changqing had shown off in front of the family, the whole family arrived. Everyone started to eat, because it was the first time for Chen Ziya to eat with Lin Changqing's family. Fearing that she would be embarrassed and unable to let go, her mother and aunt had been taking care of her all the time. This made Lin Changqing almost jealous. Like Lin Changqing, she also felt that after her sister-in-law came, her family status would probably be reduced by 1 level. Fortunately, she had prepared for this early in the morning. The family finished the spiritual meal in a relaxed and happy atmosphere, because this time back, it was Grandpa who had been driving the flying boat. So after the meal, Grandpa went back to rest first. The rest of the people stayed to chat. The main content of the chat was that the parents and aunt introduced some basic information about the Lin family to Chen Ziya. Of course, they also asked about some of the situations in Chen Ziya's family. Through this chat, they had some basic understanding of the situations of the two families. This chat lasted for more than an hour. When the time was almost up, Lin Changqing sent Chen Ziya back to the small courtyard where she lived. Holding Chen Ziya's hand, the two walked on the way to send her back. To be honest, since returning to the Lin family today, they have been busy with various things until now, and the two have not had a good communication yet. Now the moonlight is hazy, the breeze is gentle, and the way back is quiet. Lin Changqing asked with a smile, "Junior sister, how do you feel today? Are you not used to it?" Chen Ziya nodded and said with a smile, "I feel that my family is very good, especially my mother and aunt, who have been with me all the time. They are probably afraid that I will not get used to it. But I can feel that my family should accept me sincerely, which is much better than I thought. Overall, this feeling is really good. I like this family atmosphere very much. I will treat them as relatives in the future." Lin Changqing was very happy to hear this, and he was relieved. After all, when they first met, Chen Ziya's personality was relatively cold. Later, after more contact with him, she gradually returned to normal. In fact, he was still a little worried at the beginning that she would not get along with her family. Now it is very good. I feel relieved if junior sister is like this. After all, I think home is where the heart is. Although we will leave here for a while in 2.5 months, this is our home after all, so I guess we will stay here for a long time in this life. Chen Ziya nodded after hearing this. Since she accepted it in her heart and determined Lin Changqing, she has been mentally prepared for this. The place where Chen Ziya is staying now is actually not too far away. Even if the two of them walk a little slower, they will still arrive in a short time. Chen Ziya probably didn't get a good rest after rushing on the road these days, so Lin Changqing sent her back to the yard where she lived. The two of them had a verbal battle, and after a little tenderness for a while, Lin Changqing left. The two of them had agreed to take her to visit Jiufeng Mountain tomorrow, although Jiufeng Mountain is not big. But they also need to let Chen Ziya know about it, so that she won't know where her home is in the future. After Lin Changqing returned to his room, he arranged a small 5-element maze array, activated it directly, and then entered the inner space. After spending some time dealing with a deer, Lin Changqing went to the yard first and put the 3 raw stones he bought in Qinggayan market in the room. Among these 3 raw stones, there is only one relatively small high-quality raw stone. Even if it is thrown to Lin Changqing for absorption and digestion, it can't actually increase the space area by much. It is estimated that at most it will be only 20 to 30 acres of land, which is the limit. So it is better to keep it first and wait until it reaches the other side to see if there are any good things that can be bought directly with spirit stones. After all, Lin Changqing does not have a large source of spirit stones, but this kind of medium and high-quality spirit stone can solve this problem, so he decided to keep these raw stones. The next is the purple crystal scorpion. Lin Changqing released all the first-level purple crystal scorpions from the spirit beast bracelet. There were originally a total of 124, and 10 of them were already second level. This time, 26 of the strongest purple crystal scorpions were selected to help them advance to the second level. In this way, there are 36 second-level purple crystal scorpions, which is exactly a number of Xiangang, and it is estimated that it should be enough to deal with most situations. Using his spiritual sense to compare carefully, he selected the 26 strongest amethyst scorpions, and put the rest back into the spirit beast bracelet. This was to prevent these little guys from getting excited and causing trouble for Lin Changqing when the 100 Flowers soul intoxicating wine came out. He also put the selected little guys into another space of the spirit beast bracelet, leaving only one outside. He first put on a spiritual light shield, then took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle, took out a ball of 100 Flowers soul intoxicating wine of the right size, and fed it directly to the amethyst scorpion. As for the foundation building fruit, it was not necessary. After all, the amethyst scorpions now were different from those a year ago. They had already consolidated their cultivation realm, and there was no need to give them additional foundation building fruits. The amethyst scorpion soon fell into deep sleep. Lin Changqing put it aside first, and then fed it the 100 Flowers soul intoxicating wine one by one. After all the selected amethyst scorpions fell into deep sleep, Lin Changqing put them all into the spirit beast bracelet. He fed 10 100-year-old red fruits to the 10 second-order purple crystal scorpions, and basically nothing happened. When he was about to leave the inner space, Su Miniang and Zhao Linyu came over together. Seeing them like this, Lin Changqing knew that they must have something to ask him. After the two of them paid their respects to Lin Changqing, Zhao Liaoyu spoke first and said, Master, I feel that the spiritual energy in my body has been polished to a state of great perfection. And the jade slip about the foundation building experience left by the master, I have read it many times. Mei Niang also shared her foundation building experience with me in detail. Now I am about 60% to 70% sure. So I want to officially start retreat and prepare for foundation building. Please allow me to do so. Lin Changqing listened and nodded. Okay, I agree. But before you retreat, you must exchange the responsibilities with Su Miniang and let her help you first. Chapter 354, Blood Boiling. Zhao Liaoyu nodded and said, I understand. I will hand over the matter in the next 2 days and will not delay the cultivation progress of the spiritual medicine and spiritual plants in the space. Lin Changqing glanced at her and felt that he should encourage her to prevent her from feeling too much pressure, so he said, this is the best. Although you are only 60% to 70% sure of success in building the foundation, you don't have to worry at all. As long as the foundation building fruits in the space are not wasted, you can use them at will. I will always support you. If you fail to build the foundation once, there will be a second and a third time. Anyway, I will always support you until you succeed in building the foundation. Zhao Liaoyu was very moved when she heard this. She was not treated so well by her family when they were still around. Although she knew that these foundation building fruits were really nothing to the master, she was moved by the master's attitude. If it weren't for the coincidence of meeting the master and coming to this space, it is estimated that she is still wandering in the 7th or 8th level of the key refining stage, struggling desperately for a chance to build the foundation. Not to mention that the master clearly supports her and gives her countless opportunities to build the foundation. Although she was once scared to death by her master, and was really scared to death, she almost collapsed. But she was really grateful to her master and cherished everything she had now. Moreover, the master was so powerful that he rarely needed them to do anything, so she could only try her best to help the master manage the spiritual medicines and plants in the space. She said respectfully to Lin Changqing, thank you for your kindness, master. I will remember it in my heart and will never forget your kindness. After I build my foundation, I will definitely help you manage the various spiritual plants in the space. Lin Changqing was of course happy that his subordinate had this heart to repay his kindness, and comforted her again. Then he turned to look at Su Miniang and asked, is there anything on your side? Su Miniang nodded and said, Master, I want to ask, does the red fruit wine still need to be brewed? Being asked by Su Miniang reminded Lin Changqing that he would leave here in 2.5 months, and theoretically he would not come back until 10 years later. So before leaving, he thought that he should leave some cultivation resources for his family. Other things were not convenient to take out, and Zhuguo wine was the most suitable. So he nodded and said to Su Miniang, we really need to brew some more. How about this? You brew all the 100-year-old Zhu fruits in stock into Zhuguo wine. In the next 2 months, if there are Zhu fruits that are ripe, you don't need to ask me, you also brew them into Zhuguo wine, which will be of great use to me. Su Miniang said respectfully, yes, master, I understand. After hesitating for a while, Su Miniang continued, master, we have harvested a lot of Lingtao and Linglong fruits recently, and the 2 of us and the 3-colored deer can't eat so much. So, I am afraid that the things will be wasted, so I brewed them into Lingtao wine and Linglong fruit wine. I wonder if the master would like to try it. Hearing this news, Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing. Isn't this just what he wanted? 3 days later, he and Chen Ziya held a small joint ceremony. The clan leader and several elders would come to participate, as well as his own family. Of course, some spiritual wine was needed. Su Miniang's 2 kinds of spiritual wine came just in time. So she said happily, great, I just need them. How much of the spiritual peach wine and Linglong fruit wine do you have now? Su Miniang said without hesitation, now there are about 100 kilograms of both kinds of spiritual wine in stock. After thinking for a while, Lin Changqing said, then give me 30 kilograms of each. Put them all in the 5-kilogram wine pot. Remember to mark them for me. Su Miniang listened to her master's words and responded happily. Then she took Zhao Liaoyu and the 2 of them returned to the yard to get the spiritual wine that Lin Changqing needed. In fact, there were only 12 pots of spiritual wine in total, so it didn't take long for the 2 of them to get everything ready. After handing the spiritual wine to Lin Changqing, he directly exited the inner space. After returning to his room, he took out a pot of both kinds of spiritual wine. He wanted to try them himself first to see how the two kinds of spiritual wine were. If they were really bad or felt inappropriate, he would not take them out to make a fool of himself. He casually got a teacup out and poured a cup of Ling Tao wine first. Unexpectedly, the color of this spiritual wine is quite beautiful, light pink, clear wine body, and a fresh peach fragrance. It should be a lighter spiritual wine. He took a sip and immediately felt a faint peach fragrance in his mouth. It feels quite smooth when he enters the mouth, and the degree should not be high. He feels that his mother and aunt will like this kind of spiritual wine very much. After savoring it for a while, he poured out another glass of Linglong fruit wine. The color of this spiritual wine is very dark, between dark red and black. He tilted the wine glass and saw that the color hanging on the wall of the glass was particularly like the color of blood, but there was a strong fragrance of Linglong fruit. This made him feel that it was very similar to the wine in his previous life. He took a sip and immediately felt a sweet Linglong fruit taste in his mouth. However, the degree of this spiritual wine is much higher than that of Ling Tao wine. It feels that this kind of spiritual wine is suitable for everyone. After trying both kinds of spirit wine, Lin Changqing had a good idea. He would just take it out for everyone to drink when the time comes, and took back both pots of spirit wine. He took out the jade slip that his grandmother Chen Jie gave him. He had to learn this Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra quickly, because he would need it in a few days. Hey! He put the jade slip of the practice method on his forehead and read it carefully. He first read the general outline of the practice method in the front and understood the definition of dual cultivation here. Then after reading the key refining chapter and the foundation building chapter of the practice method, he was so excited that his face turned red. This is a dual cultivation method, because both people have their own fundamental methods, and it is impossible to directly switch to the Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra. So it just borrowed the practice path of the Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra, and the generated mana was finally stored in the danshan. Then he practiced it himself and converted it into the mana attribute of his own fundamental method. The dual cultivation method is still very interesting. After reading it once, it opened Lin Changqing's eyes. No wonder so many people like the dual cultivation method. According to the requirements of the Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra, the magic power was first allowed to run through Lin Changqing's body for a cycle, and then pass through the intersection. It was transmitted to Chen Ziai's body, and after running through her body for a cycle, it was transmitted back to Lin Changqing from the place where the verbal battle took place. The method was repeated in this way. Anyway, Lin Changqing was so excited when he saw this method. Chapter 355, The Road Ahead is Over. I feel that this method is quite interesting. Both sides have a strong interaction. So he decided that he must practice this wonderful method with Chen Ziai in the future. He read the key refining chapter and the foundation building chapter of the Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra twice again to make sure that he remembered the path of the method. After confirming that there was no problem, he spent some time to copy the method jade slip twice, one of which will be handed over to Chen Ziai tomorrow. He let her study it well, and then the two of them will be able to cooperate with each other. The other will be handed over to Grandpa. Let him pass it to his father. After finishing these things, seeing that the time was almost up, Lin Changqing hurriedly started to practice magic and thunder scriptures. Early the next morning, he completed the basic practice tasks first. It felt a little early, and he took a special rest for a while before going to find Chen Ziai. This was agreed last night. When Lin Changqing arrived, Chen Ziai was already waiting for him in the pavilion in the yard. Lin Changqing looked at Chen Ziai and asked with a smile, "Junior sister, how was your rest last night? Are you not used to it?" Chen Ziai shook her head gently and said, "Not bad. It was the first night I rested here yesterday, so I am still a little uncomfortable." Lin Changqing also estimated that she did not rest well, so he could only comfort her. "It's okay, it will be fine in 2 days, and then we can live back in our own yard. Wait, we will start the tour from the main peak, and we can also take a look at our new home." Chen Ziai was quite happy to hear that, and nodded repeatedly and said, "That's great, senior brother, let's not waste time, let's start now." Lin Changqing nodded and threw out a first-level spirit bow directly. He is now using the secret method of hiding the spirit to hide his foundation. He only showed the 8th level of key refining to the outside world. Only a very few people in the family knew his true situation, so it was right for him to use a first-level spirit boat. "Junior sister, come up. Today, I will take you to visit the beautiful scenery of Jiufeng Mountain, Chen Ziya chuckled and jumped onto the flying boat. Then Lin Changqing drove the flying boat straight to the top. When the two flew to high altitude and overlooked the entire Jiufeng mountain, Chen Ziya found that this was an area composed of 9 peaks of different heights. Because the Jiuquiyun formation was half opened, the 9 peaks were surrounded by layers of thick clouds and mist, forming a layer of cloud barrier. The main peak is the highest peak in the entire area, with beautiful scenery and picturesque scenery. The entire mountain, from the foot to the top, was well managed, and spiritual fields of different sizes were opened up. Then Lin Changqing began to introduce, pointing to several houses on the top of the mountain and said, "Junior sister. This is the family's retreat room. I'm here." It took more than 2 hours in total, and Lin Changqing finally gave a general introduction to Jiufeng Mountain. Now the two of them are in their own small courtyard. Because the yard was just built not long ago, everything is brand new, but there are also some bad things, that is, there are fewer flowers and plants, and a little bit of life. At this time, Chen Ziya was excitedly pulling Lin Changqing in the yard, imagining where to plant flowers and plants, and where to plant fruit trees, while Lin Changqing was responding on the side. After Chen Ziya arranged the entire yard, the two of them rested in the pavilion after having enough fun. Chen Ziya performed tea art for Lin Changqing as a thank you for being his companion for the whole morning. Lin Changqing admired his Taoist partner's pleasing tea art performance. After the two of them drank a few cups of spiritual tea, he took out the jade slip of the Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra prepared last night and handed it to Chen Ziya. He smiled and explained, "Junior sister, this is the jade slip of the dual cultivation method Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra. My grandmother gave it to me a few days ago. You should study it carefully in the next 2 days. You will need it in 2 days. Hey. When Chen Ziya heard that it was a dual cultivation method, her face turned red, and she immediately threw the jade slip back to Lin Changqing. She had also seen the introduction of this kind of method in the Qingyun Sex Sutra Pavilion before, and she also looked for this kind of method and took a look at it a few times, and she knew in her heart that it was not a good thing. She glared at him and said, "Brother, why are you like this? How could my grandmother give you such a thing?" "Stop talking nonsense here," Lin Changqing continued to explain with a smile. "It was really given to us by my grandmother. She said that my great-grandmother went to find the ancestor of your Qingyun sect to exchange it for it. I heard that this thing is not easy to come by. It is specially designed to help you solve the problem of low quality of mana after you switch to a new technique in the future. You can take a look at the general steel in front of the technique first, and you will know what it is." After that, he handed the jade slip over again. Chen Ziya hesitated for a moment, but still took the jade slip half doubtfully, then put it on his forehead and read it carefully. Soon her little face turned red again. He had seen it last night and knew what it was. He had seen so much in his previous life, and he was so excited. Let alone Chen Ziya, a blank slate, her little knowledge was still taught by Lin Changqing. After Chen Ziya finished reading, Lin Changqing pretended to be nonchalant and said, "This is a very normal behavior, there is really nothing. Besides, couples are close to each other, this kind of thing is very common, okay? This is also to improve the quality of your mana in your danshan, so as to avoid the formation of inferior golden elixir in the future, which will lead to complete severance of the road ahead. And it also adds some extra mana for both of us, which is a good thing to kill 2 birds with 1 stone." Chen Ziya tried to calm down her emotions, and after sorting out her thoughts, she said, "The jade slip says that the premise of improving the quality of mana is that the quality of mana of one party is high enough, brother's mana." Before she finished speaking, Lin Changqing said directly, "Junior sister, have you forgotten? Didn't we find a technique called 5 Elements Chaos Sutra in the ancient cultivator's cave that we found in the Xiang secret realm? You gave it to me at that time, have you forgotten? That is a heavenly level technique with chaos attributes, which is also the reason why my great-grandmother praised me for my high quality of mana. So I think the mana gained from the heavenly grade technique should be more than enough to help you improve the quality of your mana." Chapter 356 The End of the Immortal Road. After hearing this, Chen Ziya realized how well-intentioned her great-grandmother, grandmother, and senior brother were for her. She was so moved that her eyes were a little red. Fortunately, she tried to calm down. She nodded and said, "I understand, senior brother. I will study hard and will not disappoint the expectations of my great-grandmother and grandmother." After saying that, her face still turned red. Lin Changqing also knew that she was still young now, and it would be better when they were really an old couple in the future. So he quickly changed the subject and invited, "Junior sister, wait a minute, do you want to go to Aoyan Peak to have a look?" Chen Ziya also understood what he meant instantly, so she nodded and said, "Then wait a while, let's drink our spiritual tea first." So not long after, the two set off and flew straight to Aoyan Peak. They didn't wait for the first day to greet them. I guess they didn't know where to go? But Aoyan Peak was quite lively today. Not only was his aunt there to help him take care of the spiritual field, his sister and Lin Changqing were also there, and they were dealing with the insects they had just caught. The two landed beside the aunt, and Chen Ziya was the first to greet them. "Hello, aunt. Are you promoting the birth of spiritual plants?" At this time, Lin Changqing also smiled and said, "Thank you, aunt, you are the best." Lin Maoding looked at the two of them and said, "These are all the spiritual fields of this boy. When he was not around, I helped him take care of them. I knew that he would definitely look for you today, and I guess he would not have much time, so I came here to take care of these spiritual plants. Now it is almost ready. Ziya, didn't I take you around Jiufeng Mountain today?" Chen Ziya smiled and said, "We have looked around for a whole morning, and we also went to our own yard to take a look." Hearing her say this, the aunt also laughed and nodded and said, "Okay. Come with me later. I will take you to meet a few people." Chen Ziya knew that the aunt wanted to help her integrate better here, so she nodded and agreed. Just after talking to the aunt, her sister and Lin Changqing also put down their work and walked over. Lin Changqing greeted, "Sister-in-law, you are here. Did you have a good rest last night?" Chen Ziya chuckled and said, "Not bad. I am a little uncomfortable on the first day, but I think I will get used to it soon. What are you doing? I seem to see a lot of insects. Are you going to feed some spiritual pets?" At this time, Lin Changqing also said, "Meet Sister 9. We are collecting the tender meat of insects to feed the young golden-winged birds over there." At this time, the younger sister introduced, "Sister-in-law. This is Sister Changqing. She is the 12th in the Chang generation and a little younger than my brother. You can call her Sister Changqing or Sister 12. After listening to Lin Changqing's introduction, Chen Ziya chuckled and said to Lin Changqing, "Hello, Sister Changqing. We finally meet. I often hear my senior brother mention you guys and talk about your mischievous things when you were young. I envy you very much." Then the three of them stayed together, talking to each other, and they chatted like this, leaving Lin Changqing aside. In the end, the three of them even went to feed the young golden-winged birds together. Then, because the three of them wanted spirit pets, they exchanged their experiences in raising spirit pets. Seeing that Chen Ziya was taken away by them, and waiting, his aunt would take her to meet someone. So he simply informed them, entrusted Chen Ziya to them, and then returned to the main peak first. He had some things to do, so he planned to go find his grandfather first and discuss it with him. He flew directly to his grandfather's house in the main peak. Fortunately, his grandfather was at home today, so he didn't go there. Now he and his grandfather are in that secret room. Lin Changqing first took out the 2 kinds of spirit wine he got last night. He said to Grandpa, "Grandpa, in 2 days, Ziya and I will hold a marriage ceremony. Do you think these 2 kinds of spirit wine are suitable?" Grandpa picked them up and tried both kinds of spirit wine. After tasting them carefully, he said, "They are all good. This Linglong fruit wine is the most suitable. But this kind of spiritual peach wine is a little lighter, suitable for your mother and aunt to drink. Prepare them when the time comes. How much do you have now? Give it to me, and I will arrange it when the time comes." Lin Changqing nodded and gave all 12 pots of spirit wine to Grandpa. Then he took out another pot of Zhuguo wine and said to Grandpa, "Grandpa, this is a spirit wine brewed from 100-year-old Zhu fruit. It also has the effect of increasing cultivation. You try it first." Grandpa's eyes widened when he heard it. How much of a spendthrift is this? He actually used 100-year-old Zhu fruit to brew wine. He didn't know what to say to Lin Changqing. He glared at him fiercely, then directly picked up this Zhuguo wine, tried a small sip, and then began to practice the technique to refine the spirit wine. After a while, he said, "This Zhuguo wine is quite effective, but it must have used a lot of 100-year-old Zhuguo, right? Kinger, don't you think this is too wasteful?" Lin Changqing shook his head and said with a smile, "Grandpa, I had no choice but to come up with this idea. If you use up these 100-year-old Zhuguo fruits slowly, it would not only waste time, but it would also be quite dangerous if you use up too many. In addition, I will be leaving this place soon, and I won't be back for 10 years at the earliest. So I thought, why not just brew these things into Zhuguo wine and give them to you to practice and improve your cultivation? This is the safest and most appropriate way. Of course, I also have other considerations for doing this, which is that I hope that the cultivation of everyone in the family can be higher, so that I can feel more at ease when I am outside. After hearing this, the grandfather sighed lightly and said, in fact, you should use these things yourself. We are the ones who are dragging you down. Lin Changqing said seriously, no. Grandpa, do you think it's pointless for me to practice to the end of the immortal road and achieve immortality? Without your company, I am just a person, enjoying eternal emptiness and loneliness. What's the point? So let's not argue about this issue anymore, okay? Grandpa could only nod his head and asked, how much of this red fruit wine did you brew? This stuff is really good. The small sip I swallowed just now is almost equivalent to the effect of a pill for the middle stage of foundation building, and it is easy to refine and has no pill poison. If this red fruit wine is used for cultivation throughout the foundation building period, the time to advance to the purple mansion can be shortened by 3 to 4 times. Quotation mark. Chapter 357 Re-refining the Zhuinun heavy water bottle. Lin Changqing nodded and said, I still have 29 kilograms of Zhuguo wine in my hand. These are all for you. You can arrange them for the people in your family who have already established their foundation. You should also arrange some for your second uncle, but don't forget him. When Ziye and I leave, there should be another batch of Zhuguo wine, but we don't know how many there are. That's all for now, please arrange it first. After that, he took out 8 pots of Zhuguo wine from the storage bag. With the one in Grandpa's hand, Lin Changqing only had a little left. When Grandpa heard that there were so many Zhuguo wines, he knew that Lin Changqing must have used most of the 100-year-old Zhuguo to make spirit wine. He understood that he must want to leave more Zhuguo wine for them before leaving. He couldn't help but sigh again in his heart that his grandson was really a good child in the family. I will arrange the red fruit wine, you don't have to worry about it. I will not forget your second uncle's share, I will take care of it and send it to him when the time comes. But you should keep some for yourself. Xianhui is now considered one of our Lin people, so you should not forget her share. He had already made plans for Chen Ziai's share, so he nodded and said, I have prepared Ziai's share, but it will take some time before we talk about it. Grandpa nodded after listening, and didn't say anything. Then he put away the 9 pots of spirit wine on the table. Lin Changqing then took out another jade slit and handed it to his grandfather, and said, Grandpa, this is a dual cultivation technique called Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra. It was given to me by Senior Chen Jie before I came back. I heard that my great-grandmother came forward to exchange it with the ancestor of Qingyuan sect. It is very precious. Its main function is to improve the quality of magic power, and it can be used until the nascent soul stage, so I think we should keep a copy at home. At that time, Senior Chen Jie specifically instructed that this is a very important technique of the creation sect, and it is also a secret that is not to be passed on. It can be said that it is second only to the core technique. Grandpa, you must keep it well and don't leak it out casually. So, you should keep this technique at home, and don't put it in the family's sutra pavilion. Otherwise, you, the creation family, our Lin family can't afford to offend you. Grandpa listened and nodded, but didn't say anything. He directly put the jade slip on his forehead and read the contents. After a while, he said, according to the method, only your parents in our family meet the requirements of practicing this method. When the time comes, I will come forward to hand it over to your father, so don't worry. Moreover, this method is only useful for cultivators who have cultivated high-quality mana. It is much less useful for others. Lin Changqing nodded. Grandpa understood it very thoroughly. In this case, Lin Changqing had nothing to say. After discussing with his grandfather, he left his grandfather's house. While it was still early and there was still some time, he returned to his room. In fact, there was one thing that should have been done after the foundation was successfully built, but for various reasons, it has been delayed until now. That is to use mana to re-refine the Zhuinun heavy water bottle, although it can still be used now. But when I used it last night, it felt strange, probably because the spiritual energy in the danshan turned into mana. It didn't feel that handy, so it had to be re-refined. With a thought, the Zhuinun Tongbaoju appeared again. In Lin Changqing's mind, He circulated the chaotic mana in his danshan and cast the magic on the Zuinun heavy water bottle according to the Tongbaoju. It took about a quarter of an hour to finish all the magic, but the Zuinun heavy water bottle can be sacrificed all the time. So Lin Changqing did not stop, but continued to sacrifice it in a cycle. It took 3 hours and a total of 12 times. When he used it again, it felt smooth and there was no longer that kind of unsmooth and strange feeling. He probed his consciousness into the Zuinun heavy water bottle again. The main space and the 365 small spaces were still the same. But he felt that his control over the heavy water bottle was much stronger than when he was in the key refining stage. In the past, he focused on the heavy water bottle and exhausted all the spiritual energy in his danshan. At most, he could absorb 1 or 2,000 cubic meters of water at a time. Now, with the amount of mana in his danshan, he estimated that he could absorb at least 8 or 9,000 cubic meters of water. Don't underestimate this amount. If converted to the previous life, it is close to tens of thousands of tons. Collecting and releasing tens of thousands of tons of water at a time can do a lot of things. Of course, the Zuinun heavy water bottle is specially used to absorb ordinary water and refine various levels of heavy water. But his main goal this time is not these. At that time, there were 2 spaces in the heavy water bottle, which stored spiritual wine. One of them smelled of various flowers. This is the spiritual wine that Lin Changqing later named Beihuzuhan wine. The other one smelled of the fragrance of spiritual fruit. He estimated that it should be fruit wine or monkey wine. But because he felt that this kind of spiritual wine was higher in rank than Beihuzuhan wine, he never tried to see what role or effect it had. But Lin Changqing has now established his foundation, so he wants to try to see what this kind of spiritual wine is used for. But not now. He has been refining the Zuinun heavy water bottle for more than 3 hours, and now it must be completely dark outside. He was going out to have dinner with his family at this time, and because of Chen Ziya, he should also go out to accompany her. Another kind of spiritual wine, after he finishes the spiritual meal and sends Chen Ziya back, he will try the effect of this spiritual wine. When he came to the living room, everyone including Chen Ziya had arrived. Everyone was chatting and waiting for Lin Changqing to come out. Lin Changqing quickly apologized to everyone with a playful smile, saying that he forgot the time because of his practice, and the family didn't care about him. After finishing the spiritual meal, everyone chatted together. Grandpa told everyone about Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya, according to what he had just discussed with Lin Changqing. After a while, he would take advantage of the east wind of Qinghai sect and leave Qinghai Cape with his great-grandmother. Father was fine, there was no big surprise. Maybe Grandpa had informed him in advance. Hey, but after hearing this, Mother, aunt, and sister were all boiling. Especially when they heard that the distance was so far and that it would take at least 10 years to come back after one visit, their reactions were particularly strong. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 358 Almost Burned to Death. However, according to the analysis and explanation of Grandpa, this is a huge opportunity for Lin Changqing, which should not be missed easily. After all, it is better to leave the small place of Qinghai and go to the real world of cultivation outside to see it than to stay here for a lifetime. And this is also the support of the great-grandmother to the Lin family, so Lin Changqing must go for himself and for the family. Just think of it as a preemptive move for the family, maybe they can be taken there together in the future. Although it is said that, the mother, aunt and sister are still very reluctant to let them go. Especially the sister Lin Changqing, who directly clamored to go with her brother and sister-in-law, but because she is only the 6th level of key refining. She used to be the 5th level of key refining. But during the time when Lin Changqing was building the foundation, she advanced another level and is now the 6th level of key refining. But everyone felt that her cultivation was still too weak, and she was too young, and they were afraid that she could not take care of herself, so no one in the family agreed. She was so angry that she ran back to her room. Everyone understood why Chen Ziya was so abrupt and came back with a person who went to propose marriage. And everything was kept simple. A small ceremony was held within the family, and even the most important ceremony of marriage was not held. Everyone discussed for a long time, all about Lin Changqing and the others leaving Qinghai. When it was almost time, everyone went back to practice. As for Chen Ziya, Lin Changqing sent her back to the small courtyard, and agreed to meet tomorrow, and then he returned to his room. Seeing his family like this, especially his mother and aunt, he was very reluctant. But he had no way to tell them that he could come back at any time, so he could only suppress this depressed mood by force. Decided to find something to do so that he didn't think about it. So after he returned to the room, he directly activated the maze array and entered the inner space. He was going to try the effect of another kind of spiritual wine in the Zuinun heavy water bottle, but he was afraid that the noise would be too loud, so he decided to try it in the inner space. With the experience from last time, he didn't dare to swallow it himself, so he decided to let his men try it out first. After spending some time dealing with the deer, he saw Su Miniang already standing by and waiting. Seeing that Lin Changqing noticed her, Su Miniang hurried forward to greet him. "I greet the master. After Sister Liao handed over her work today, she has officially gone into seclusion." After hearing this, Lin Changqing was stunned for a moment. She had just told him yesterday that she would go into seclusion today, but she was still so anxious. Did she know that being impatient would not help? In such a hurry, Lin Changqing was worried whether she would succeed in building her foundation for the first time. Then he shook his head and stopped thinking about this question. Suddenly, an idea came to him, and he said directly to Su Miniang, "Zhao Li was in seclusion to build the foundation, so you will have to work harder. How about this? I got a high-level spiritual wine by chance before. Based on the aroma of the wine, I judged that it should be fruit wine, or spiritual wine like monkey wine, but the amount is too small. And I can't bear to drink it myself. I'll make some for you, just as a reward for your hard work in the future." Of course, Lin Changqing couldn't say to Su Miniang directly, "Come here, try this spiritual wine for me to see if there are any bad effects." That would hurt the feelings of his subordinates, so he still had to modify it appropriately, so that his subordinates would not be upset. When Su Miniang heard that Lin Changqing was going to reward her with spiritual wine, the first thing she thought of was the 100 flowers drunken soul wine in her master's hand. She believed that the high-level spiritual wine that her master said should not be worse than that one, and of course she had already agreed in her heart. So, he happily thanked her and said, "Thank you for the wine, master. I will manage the spiritual medicines and plants in the space well and live up to your expectations." Lin Changqing listened, chuckled and said nothing more, but took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle and took some spiritual wine directly from it. Because he didn't know what the specific effect was, and it was rare to have such an obedient hand, he didn't want her to have any accidents easily. So Lin Changqing only made a small ball of spiritual wine, which was probably only a small ball of the size of a key-gathering pill. However, as soon as this ball of spiritual wine came out and came into contact with the air, a very strong fruity fragrance immediately emanated. Su Miniang smelled it and couldn't help it. She immediately took the initiative to go up and swallowed it in one gulp. What's more exaggerated is that in just a short while, all the three-colored deer ran over from a distance. Then they surrounded the two people, sniffing non-stop, and then began to call yo-yo. These guys with sensitive noses were finally sent away by Lin Changqing. At this time, Su Miniang was already sitting cross-legged on the ground, practicing the technique to refine the spirit wine. But now it looked a little strange. All the visible skin on her body was gradually turning red, and there was a little bit of fullness. Her appearance scared Lin Changqing, but he also knew that she was refining the spirit wine with all her strength, and he couldn't help her in her current state. He still remained silent and tried not to make any noise, so as not to disturb her refining. He gently stepped back a little distance, in case Su Miniang was blown up and sprayed with blood. Fortunately, the worst situation he expected did not happen. After about an hour, the red color on Su Miniang's body gradually began to fade. The phenomenon of fullness in the body was also gradually disappearing. After about half an hour, Su Miniang opened her eyes. Seeing Lin Changqing looking at her, she quickly stood up and said excitedly, "Thank you for the spiritual wine given by the master. I feel so good now." Lin Changqing quickly asked, "What did you feel after taking it? Tell me in detail." Su Miniang nodded and said happily, "After taking it at first, there was a strong fruity aroma in my mouth. I wanted to savor it carefully, but I didn't expect to miss it soon. Because the spiritual wine I took turned into a heat wave, which soon swept through my body. I felt as if my body was about to burn up, which scared me to death. So, I could only work hard to run the exercises to refine the heat. Fortunately, It gradually worked, and my whole body was no longer so swollen. I don't know how long it took, but I felt that all the heat waves disappeared, and my body seemed very relaxed and comfortable. Chapter 359, Key Replenishing and Longevity Prolonging Wine. Lin Changqing listened, nodded and asked, besides feeling the heat wave burning your body, is there anything else different about your body? Or you can check it carefully yourself. Su Mingyang just opened her eyes and saw that Lin Changqing had been paying attention to her. She was afraid that her master would wait too long, so she immediately told Lin Changqing about her feelings after taking the spirit wine. However, she did not have time to check her body carefully, so she nodded, began to look inside, and checked it in detail bit by bit. At this moment, she quickly found something different, but she still insisted on checking her whole body, and then she said excitedly, "Master, after I checked my inner vision, I found that my body's qi and blood are very vigorous now. And I don't know if it's an illusion, I feel like my lifespan has also increased by 1 or 2 years." Lin Changqing listened to what she said, and said a little unbelievably, "What? Do you admit that this spiritual wine replenishes your qi and blood, and it feels like it has increased your lifespan?" Su Mingyang nodded seriously and said, "Yes, Master, that's what I mean. Since I built my foundation, I have a vague feeling about my lifespan. After carefully experiencing it this time, it should have increased my lifespan by 1 to 2 years." Lin Changqing was really stunned, but still a little unbelievable. It took him a little time to digest this news. Knowing the efficacy and function of the spiritual wine made him happy and disappointed. The good thing is that with the effect of the spiritual wine to increase lifespan, then in the future, his family will have more opportunities to have more lifespan than others to climb to the peak of the immortal way. But this thing has no effect on him. He and Lin Changqing lived and died together, and of course they also shared a lifespan. Although he didn't know how long Lin Changqing's lifespan was, he never worried about this problem. Besides, even if he didn't rely on Lin Changqing's help, he had full confidence that he could successfully advance to the Purple Mansion stage before his lifespan was exhausted. What was disappointing was that he had high expectations for the spirit wine and waited until he had established his foundation to try its effects. Unexpectedly, although the spirit wine had a powerful effect, it had no effect on him, so he couldn't help but be disappointed. This spirit wine is a very rare precious medicine for those external refining and body refining cultivators. He himself was using the Thunder Sutra to passively refine his body, and it had nothing to do with whether his qi and blood were strong or not. Moreover, for those cultivators whose qi and blood were declining and whose lifespan was not much, this thing was also a treasure, but it was useless to him. Lin Changqing glanced at Su Mingyang, sighed softly, and then said, "Since you have tested the effect of this spiritual wine, then you can give it a name." Chen Ziking listened, nodded and began to think about it. After a while, he said, "Master, since this spiritual wine has the effect of replenishing qi and blood and increasing lifespan, why not call it qi replenishing and longevity increasing wine?" What do you think? When Lin Changqing heard the name of qi replenishing and longevity increasing wine, he couldn't help but nodded. This is also good. As soon as he heard the name, he knew what it was used for. It was quite intuitive. Okay, this spiritual wine will be called qi replenishing and longevity increasing wine in the future. After saying that, Lin Changqing waved his hand and asked Su Mingyang to do her own things. He also planned to exit the inner space. However, he suddenly remembered that the ordinary spiritual fruits in the storage bag had been consumed. So he picked some more and put them in the jade box. Then he went to the storage room and took a box of green jade tea. After putting everything in the storage bag, he officially left the inner space. When he returned to his room, it was already late, so he did not delay and started practicing magic and thunder sutras. The next morning, after completing his normal practice tasks, he went to find Chen Ziya. In the past, when he was a guest at Chen Ziya's house, she would come to find him. Now that Chen Ziya lived in his house, it was Lin Changqing who went to find her. It was quite interesting to think about it. After Chen Ziya welcomed him into the yard, the two went directly to the pavilion. The two did not plan to go anywhere today. So as before, Chen Ziya performed tea art for him, and then the two of them stayed together, drinking tea and chatting. The two did not talk about anything too formal, mainly Lin Changqing accompanied her to kill time. However, when the two chatted, they talked about the problem of a set of spiritual tools, and Lin Changqing suddenly remembered something. That is, to ask Chen Ziya about the operating principle of the three talents formation, or the operating trajectory of the formation. The 3 talents golden light sword in his hand needs the assistance of this formation to exert its greatest power. Lin Changqing asked him about the magic array, and Chen Ziya was very happy. She immediately took out all her energy and disassembled the 3 talents array bit by bit and taught it to Lin Changqing. One was willing to teach, and the other was willing to learn. The two soon immersed themselves in the atmosphere of learning. It took about 2 hours to teach Lin Changqing the most basic operating principle of the 3 talents array. Then Chen Ziya took out a large array plate, which was the top-grade spiritual array plate given to her by Master Ziyan. She began to teach Lin Changqing step by step and deduce the changes of the 3 talents array on the array plate. Under Chen Ziya's unreserved teaching, Lin Changqing was completely immersed in the deduction of the 3 talents array. The first time he experienced the charm of the array, he was immersed in it unconsciously, and Chen Ziya was thrown aside by him. Chen Ziya was not surprised at all because she was often like this. It is easy to ignore the people and things around you when you are immersed in the world of arrays all of a sudden. So Chen Ziya didn't disturb him, and tried not to make any noise, drinking the spiritual tea quietly. She also took out a book about formations and started reading it carefully. Anyway, they didn't have anything to do today, so they just prepared to wait for Lin Changqing to wake up. Unexpectedly, they had to wait for several hours until Changqing, who was immersed in it, woke up. It was already dark, and a whole day had passed without them noticing. Now they could prepare to go back for dinner. After Lin Changqing woke up, he saw that Chen Ziya had been with him all the time. Lin Changqing said apologetically, "I'm sorry, junior sister. I don't know how I got sucked into it all of a sudden. I've been deducing the 3 talents formation on the formation plate. I don't know what's going on, it seems endless." Chapter 360, 100 Ancestors Long Staff. Chen Ziya shook his head and chuckled, "It's okay, brother. This is a common thing that happens when learning formations. It's normal in my opinion. I just didn't expect that you have such a high level of comprehension and a high talent for formations. You can consider learning formations in the future." After listening to this, Lin Changqing shook his head and said, "Forget it. I'm a spiritual plant master and an alchemist now, and I really don't have that much energy. So from now on, all matters concerning formations will be left to you. I'll learn this 3 talents formation just to make this set of 3 talents golden light swords in my hand exert their due power." Chen Ziya felt that what he said made sense. After all, human energy is limited, and it is impossible to learn everything. So he nodded and said, "Okay, I will take care of the formations in the future. But I am only a 2nd level lower grade formation master now, and there are still many things to learn. I hope I won't disappoint you in the future," Lin Changqing said with a smile. "No. Junior sister is so smart, no matter what she learns, she will definitely be able to handle it with ease. And now you are already the #1 formation master in the Lin family. So you don't have to be modest. Let's go home quickly. I guess they should be waiting for us to have dinner now." Chen Ziya thought about it and it made sense. The Lin family did not have a real formation inheritance, so she was really the person with the highest attainment in the formation in the Lin family. But at this time, it is indeed time to go back for dinner. It is definitely not good to let so many elders wait for them, so the 2 of them hurried to Lin Changqing's house. When they arrived home, they were the last ones, which made Chen Ziya a little embarrassed. Fortunately, Lin Changqing smiled and explained to everyone, otherwise everyone would definitely think they were doing something bad and then forget the time. But no one laughed at them. In a relaxed and happy atmosphere, the family finished the spiritual meal. Then Grandpa began to lay out the tasks. Tomorrow is the 3rd day, and the day after tomorrow is the day when Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya will hold the ceremony. So some things need to be prepared tomorrow, so Aunt was assigned to accompany Chen Ziya tomorrow. Parents and sister are to clean up and decorate Lin Changqing's yard tomorrow. After all, it is a joint cultivation. No matter how simple it is, the necessary things must be there. Fortunately, the Lin family is more experienced in this regard. After all, Lin Changqing is not the first to marry a Taoist partner. Mother must know what things are needed. With the help of father and sister, there will be no problem in decorating the yard. On the contrary, Lin Changqing has nothing to do tomorrow and is free. In this case, he plans to go to the family scripture pavilion tomorrow to find 1 or 2 secret books about stick techniques, and take a look at the 2nd grandfather. In fact, When he learned last night that the spiritual wine has the effect of replenishing ki and blood and increasing lifespan, his first reaction was to give it to the second grandfather and the third grandfather. But after thinking carefully, he gave up the idea, because Su Meinyang was a foundation-building cultivator, and her body and meridians were nourished and tempered by magic power, and they almost exploded yesterday. It is estimated that the physical condition of the second grandfather and others is not able to withstand such a fierce thing. After all, they are nearly 100 years old. If they were in their 60s or 70s, they could give them a try, and maybe there would be a slight chance to build a foundation. But at the age of nearly 100, there is no possibility, so it is decided not to give it to them, lest it harm them instead. When the time was almost right, Lin Changqing sent Chen Ziyi back to the courtyard, because they would not meet tomorrow for the time being. So the two of them had another very enthusiastic exchange about verbal battles. Lin Changqing wanted to go further, but was driven out by Chen Ziyi. He returned to his room. Then he couldn't wait to take out a formation plate, which was a first-grade upper-grade formation plate that Chen Ziyi had eliminated before. But it was more than enough for Lin Changqing to deduce the changes of the three talents formation. In fact, this afternoon, Lin Changqing had already deduced more than a dozen changes on the array disk, which was a great harvest. That's why he wanted to strike while the iron was hot and try to deduce more, at least to get 36 changes, so that the power of the three talents golden light sword could be brought into play. Putting aside unnecessary distractions, he began to concentrate on the array disk, deducing step by step, and time passed unknowingly. When Lin Changqing got off the array disk again, it was more than 2 hours later, and it was probably very late. He could only put the array disk away and start the fixed training task. Early the next morning, after Lin Changqing completed the basic training, he left home and flew directly to the family's sutra pavilion. From a distance, he saw that the second grandfather was still the same as before, lying on a recliner not far from the entrance of the sutra pavilion, drinking tea and reading. Landing beside him, then greeted him with a smile. "Hello, second grandpa. You are the most free person at home." Second grandpa glanced at him and asked in surprise, "What are you doing here today? I remember that tomorrow is your big day. Don't you have to prepare? You actually have time to come and see an old guy like me." Lin Changqing continued to say with a grin, "Someone has prepared those things by themselves. I would just be causing trouble if I were there. So I came to see you while I had time." Second grandpa couldn't help but rolled his eyes when he heard it, and said unhappily, "Nonsense, we just met 2 days ago. What's so good about an old guy like me? What's the matter? Tell me quickly." Lin Changqing saw that he was exposed by second grandpa, and he was not embarrassed, but said directly, "I really came to see you. I wanted to find a secret book of stick organ skills smoothly." Second grandpa laughed and scolded when he heard it, "You little stinky boy, I knew you didn't come to see me specifically. Go, go, go. The secret books such as swords, guns, sticks and clubs are in the innermost part of the northwest corner of the first floor. But the things in our family are relatively common. If you really need them, go find them yourself. Don't disturb me while I'm drinking tea and reading books." Lin Changqing smiled and bowed, then he slipped directly into the sutra library. He was a frequent visitor here before, and he knew where it was. He should be the first one to come today. The sutra library was quiet. He found the place directly and began to focus on looking for stick and spear techniques. Soon he had a harvest and selected 2 books. One was the 100 Ancestors Long Stick and the other was the 7-Star Golden Spear. Chapter 361, Enjoyable. Just like before, he found a comfortable place to sit and started reading. The first book he read was the 100 Ancestors Long Stick, which contained 108 stick techniques. Lin Changqing was very interested in it. This was a set of stick techniques that could be used for both offense and defense. Although it was not very advanced, it should be more than enough to lay the foundation. So Lin Changqing decided to choose this book for stick techniques. He carefully flipped through it from beginning to end, and only put it aside after making sure that he would not forget it. Then, he picked up the 7-Star Golden Spear and continued to read it. It took him a while to finish it. This set of spear techniques only had 36 styles in total. It was also a relatively basic spear technique. The key points of this set of spear techniques were the 3 actions of stabbing, picking, and tapping, but this set of spear techniques was more inclined to attack. Spears and sticks have the same origin, which is another supplement to stick techniques for Lin Changqing, so Lin Changqing also prepared to write down this set of spear techniques. Then he would practice it together with the stick technique, so Lin Changqing read it carefully again to make sure he would not forget it, and then put the two secret books back to their original positions. However, he did not leave immediately, as he still had to find some other information, and he did not know if he could find it in the family's sutra pavilion. When he was refining the Zuinun heavy water bottle, he saw that there were 7 kinds of spiritual water in the heavy water bottle, which he had not identified. This time he happened to come to the sutra pavilion, and he wanted to see if he could find any information about the spiritual water to compare and identify. Moreover, it was not convenient to ask his second grandfather about this matter, so he started looking for it in the sutra pavilion by himself. Fortunately, he had stayed here for a while before, and knew which places would definitely not have such information, so he ruled it out first, which narrowed the scope a lot. In the end, it took a lot of time to find a record of what he had seen in a corner. It was unknown which elder's trophy it was. In this record, there were nearly 10 kinds of spiritual waters, such as Qingming spiritual water, Yuhe spiritual water, Zhenan spiritual water, etc. However, the spiritual waters that the author of this record had come into contact with or seen did not match the 7 kinds of spiritual waters in Lin Changqing's heavy water bottle. This still made him a little disappointed. This was the only record of spiritual water that could be found in the family's sutra pavilion. Coming here today had already consumed a lot of time. He also wanted to go to Aoyan Peak to take a look, so he put the record back to its original place. After walking out of the sutra pavilion, the second grandfather was still the same. Seeing him coming out, he casually asked, "Have you found what you want?" Lin Changqing nodded and said, "I found a stick method and a gun method, which should be enough for the time being. I have written them down. I will come to see the rest when I need them later." After listening to him, the second grandfather looked at him and said, "You are not a physical cultivator. You can spend some time to learn stick methods and gun methods, but don't lose sight of the main goal." Lin Changqing had no way to tell the second grandfather that he was a physical cultivator, so after listening to what the second grandfather said, he could only nod repeatedly and said, "What you said makes sense. I don't plan to invest so much energy. I just learned some basic gun and stick skills as a physical exercise. And in the future, when I encounter physical cultivators who use guns and sticks, I can also have an idea in my mind and know their approximate moves, so I know how to deal with them. Nothing to do. I will go to Aoyan Peak first. I have been here for several hours today, so I still have to go there to take a look." After hearing this, the grandfather waved his hand and told Lin Changqing to get out quickly. Lin Changqing smiled and bowed, then flew straight to Aoyan Peak. When he was halfway, Chu Ai came to meet him. Lin Changqing jumped directly on his back. He took Lin Changqing and flew around Jiufeng Mountain twice before returning to Aoyan Peak. When landing, Lin Changqing threw a zoo fruit to Chu Ai. From now on, all his second-level spiritual pets, as long as they reach the second level, will be fed with a zoo fruit every few days, so that they will grow faster. He first went to see Chuer and the 3 young birds. They were still the same, but Chuer just saw Lin Changqing gave Chu Ai a zoo fruit. So he called to Lin Changqing and conveyed his eagerness through the contract, which made Lin Changqing laugh. Thinking that Chuer had hatched and raised the offspring, it was also a great contribution, so he took out a zoo fruit and fed it to Chuer as a reward. Then Lin Changqing went directly to the place where the purple crystal scorpion often stayed and released the first and second level purple crystal scorpions. Then he fed them some monster meat, left a few spiritual crystals, and said he was leaving. Now, there are only 26 left in the spiritual beast bracelet, including the purple crystal scorpion that is sleeping and advancing, and the hairball. This little guy was scared by Chuer, and he didn't dare to appear in front of Chuer. He only strolled in Lin Changqing's room occasionally, and stayed in the spiritual beast bracelet the rest of the time. Back to the spiritual field, he started to work. Today, my aunt was with Chen Zilia, so she definitely didn't have time to take care of the spiritual plants. So Lin Changqing had to work by himself, and he used the Pei Yuan Sheng Sheng technique. Fortunately, he had already established his foundation, and it took him almost an hour to finish all the work. Back to the pavilion to rest, and by the way, he made himself a pot of spiritual tea, and recalled the stick and gun techniques he had just seen in the sutra library, and after confirming that there were no problems, he took out the panlong stick and practiced the stick technique in the yard. At first, he was still very unfamiliar, and the speed of the gestures was not fast, but after a few times, he was already in the right shape. and the speed was getting faster and faster. The weight of the panlong stick itself, plus Lin Changqing's own strength, made the panlong stick dance with great force. Each strike had a force of 10,000 pounds, and the power was incredible. Lin Changqing estimated that even the defensive shield set up during the foundation building period would definitely be broken with one strike of the stick. He hadn't tried other skills yet, but the 5-element spiritual energy shield he used was indeed broken with one strike of the stick. This gave Lin Changqing some ideas in his mind. Of course, it was still a little early for this idea since he had just started to practice physical training. However, after performing the 108-style Beizu long stick 10 times, his whole body was completely active, and he felt refreshed. Therefore, Lin Changqing decided that in the future, as long as the environment allowed, he would spend a little time every day to perform a few stick techniques, just as a way to exercise his body. Chapter 362, Finally Get Rid of Singleness. Seeing that it was almost dark, after packing up, they left Aoyan Peak and returned to their own yard. There were 2 fewer people dining today. Ant accompanied Chen Ziya, and neither of them came to dine. Therefore, today there were only Grandpa and Lin Changqing's family of 4. After dinner, Grandpa specifically told Lin Changqing about the general process of tomorrow. Let Lin Changqing have an idea in mind. In fact, it is very simple. Tomorrow he and Chen Ziya will go to the family ancestral hall to worship the ancestors and let Chen Ziya leave her name in the family tree. Then return to Lin Changqing's yard, everyone will have 2 tables and celebrate together, and the ceremony will be completed. After listening to it, Lin Changqing also felt that this was good, simple, and there was no need to toss so much. When they come back in the future, they will hold a real joint family ceremony for Chen Ziya. For now, it is better to keep a low profile. Today, my parents and sister have already decorated a new yard. When Lin Changqing came back just now, he also took a look. The inside and outside are decorated very festively. After chatting for a while about the division of labor and arrangements for tomorrow, everyone went back to practice and rest. Lin Changqing returned to his room. He was still quite excited when he thought about having a real Taoist partner tomorrow. After all, he was a bachelor in his previous life. He finally calmed down. Now it was still early, so he decided to find something to do. After thinking for a while, he took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle and began to practice it according to the Zuinun Tuangbaoju. Soon 2 hours passed, and Lin Changqing practiced it 8 times in total. I feel that the control over the heavy water bottle has become a little smoother. I have been persisting. I believe that one day, I will be able to control it. After a short rest, I began to practice magic and thunder scriptures again. Early the next morning, after Lin Changqing completed the basic practice, he came to the living room. His parents and sister were already waiting for him. The younger sister couldn't help but said with disdain, "Brother, today is such an important day, and you are even later than me. Are you ashamed?" Lin Changqing touched her head and said with a smile, "It's because of the reason of my martial arts method. Each time I practice, I spend a lot more time than you. That's why I am always a little later than you." The mother also smiled and said, "Okay, linger, don't worry about it. After you build your foundation, the time to complete basic practice will also increase. Besides, it's just right to go now." The father also smiled and said, "Okay Kinger, you will have a Taoist partner in the future. You can be considered to have established a family. You should take care of your sister more." Lin Changqing listened, nodded and said seriously, "I know, Dad. Don't worry. I have prepared a gift in advance, and I will give it to her when I leave. Then she will know how good I am to her." When the younger sister Lin Changqing heard that her brother had prepared a gift for her, she immediately ran to Lin Changqing's side. She said with a smile, "Brother, what gift are you going to give me? Today is a good day for you and your sister-in-law, why don't you give it to me now?" Lin Changqing also said with a smile, "That won't work. I haven't decided what to give specifically. It mainly depends on your performance during this period." When Lin Changqing heard this, her eyes rolled around and she immediately promised, "Okay. I know what to do. From then on, I will help you feed the purple crystal scorpion on the 1st and 2nd days of the new year. What do you think, brother? Is this considered a particularly good performance?" When Lin Changqing heard this, he couldn't help laughing. He didn't even think of this. If other sisters wanted to perform, then they could leave it to her. So he nodded and said, "Of course, as long as you can persevere and stick to it for 2.5 months. My gift will definitely make you jump for joy. I guarantee that it will definitely exceed your imagination." Lin Changqing really fell for this. After all, Lin Changqing had never let her down, so she was really looking forward to it now. At this time, Mother's Day said, Okay. It's almost time, let's go to the ancestral hall together." Then the family flew to the ancestral hall together. In fact, it was not too far, just next to the family school. When the family arrived, the clan leader picked up Chen Ziya and her aunt, and they just arrived at the door of the ancestral hall. The clan leader personally went to pick up Chen Ziya, which also expressed his importance to her and also expressed his respect for the great-grandmother. After the greetings, they entered the ancestral hall together. At this time, there were already quite a few people inside, including the great-grandfather who was in charge of the family's external affairs, the second grandfather who managed the Sutra Pavilion, the third grandfather who was in charge of the family school, the fourth grandfather who managed the general affairs hall, the fifth grandfather who had been recuperating, the sixth grandfather who was in charge of alchemy, the seventh grandfather who was in charge of refining tools, and the eighth grandfather who was in charge of business. There was also Lin Changqing's own grandfather. These people were the core of the family. Now everyone stood on both sides, leaving only Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya standing in the middle. At this time, the patriarch said, "The Chen and Lin families have been friends for generations, but because the Chen family is not a family of immortal cultivators, there are very few cultivators. This has also caused the two families to have been friends for more than 300 years, and only now has a pair of real Taoist companions appeared." Originally, based on the relationship between the two families, a grand ceremony of joining the family should be held to announce it to the world. But because of some special reasons, it cannot be held now, and it can only be made up later. Today, under the witness of the core elders of the family, everything will be kept simple for the time being. Now you two will go together. Kowtow 3 times in front of the tablets of the ancestors of all generations, and burn 3 incense sticks. In this way, Xiaowei will be officially admitted to the Lin family. Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya hurriedly agreed, and then the two of them respectfully went to the tablets of the ancestors, kowtowed and burned incense. Then the patriarch personally wrote Chen Ziya's name on the family tree, next to Lin Changqing's name. He also asked her to drop a drop of blood, and soon the drop of blood was absorbed by the family tree. Then he handed a new identity J token to Chen Ziya and asked her to refine it on the spot, so that Chen Ziya would be a real member of the Lin family. Afterwards, the two of them served tea to Grandpa, Lin Changqing's parents, and aunt, and officially changed their words. 4 gifts were received. Anyway, Chen Ziya should call Lin Changqing whatever he called her. Next was the gifts from the clan leader and grandfathers, because Chen Ziya had a special body. So the clan leader and the 8 grandfathers all prepared expensive gifts. Anyway, if it was too light, they would be embarrassed to buy it. Lin Changqing estimated that these gifts added together should be more than enough to buy a foundation building pill. Chapter 363, Joint Cultivation. The main reason was that the gifts from the clan leader and the 6th grandfather were relatively heavy, but for Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya, this was nothing. After receiving a lot of gifts and blessings, their small ceremony was completed. Then everyone left the ancestral hall together and came to Lin Changqing's yard, which would be their home in the future. Mother and aunt had already started preparing spiritual meals, while Lin Changqing's family chatted with everyone, and Lin Changqing also took out all the good things. Just 2 days ago, the spiritual fruits and green jade tea prepared in the inner space were all moved out. Although there were only a dozen people here, it was still quite lively. The elders talked about everything and collectively teased Lin Changqing for knowing how to find a Taoist partner so early. Anyway, he was the youngest here and the protagonist of today, so all the elders teased Lin Changqing, which also added some joyful atmosphere to this festive day. Then everyone sat down to eat, and this time they drank up the 2 kinds of spiritual wine prepared by Lin Changqing. And all the elders were full of praise for the JT and 2 kinds of spirit wine that Lin Changqing brought out. However, despite their praise, Lin Changqing did not give up, and did not give things away casually. He only gave some to his grandfather, and some to his second grandfather who had helped him, but not to the clan leader. Fortunately, it was lively for several hours and finally finished. After sending all the elders away, only his family was left. But today was their good day, so the family members did not stay too long. After helping to clean up, they left. In the end, Only Lin Changqing and Chen Zhiao were left. Lin Changqing looked at her with a smile, and couldn't help pinching her cheek and said, "I finally got it, junior sister. You will be mine from now on." Hey! 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 When Chen Zhiao heard this, although she knew that her senior brother was teasing her, she couldn't help blushing. After all, the Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra was not read in vain, and she already knew what was going on. Lin Changqing saw her shy look. How could he bury it? Now he was legitimate and had his certificate to work. So he took Chen Zhiao's hand, and the two returned to the festively decorated room, and then activated the bell on the door. The room immediately became a world of its own, and then the two began to study the specific matters of development and irrigation. After all, she was a cultivator, and her body recovery ability was still very good. After the initial discomfort, Chen Zhiao barely adapted. Although facing Lin Changqing's fierce development, the old man was defeated repeatedly, but facing Lin Changqing's entanglement, he could only fight again and again. Now, except for going to their parents' house to eat with their family every day, they stay at home all the time. Anyway, Aoi in Peak Spiritual Field has his aunt to help take care of it, and his sister helps feed the spiritual beasts, so Lin Changqing himself has nothing to do. So he took Chen Zhiao and lived in a world of two people. Of course, they still had to practice, but the two had just been together. There were some things related to the development and irrigation, and Lin Changqing was quite addicted to them, so the two of them often stayed together. In this way, about half a month passed. One morning, the two were drinking tea in the yard. And suddenly that wonderful feeling came to Lin Changqing again. He quickly concentrated his mind and carefully sensed a feeling in his heart, once, twice, 7 times, 8 times, and finally a total of 26 times. It took more than an hour, and Lin Changqing was a little worried about it, but in the end, all of them were promoted to the second level. In this way, together with the previous 10 second level purple crystal scorpions, he has 36, which is already very powerful. When he was happy, he naturally smiled. Chen Zhiao actually noticed his abnormality early on, and saw him like this. So she couldn't help asking, "Brother Qing, did something good happen? You look so happy," Lin Changqing said proudly. "That's right. Yeah, your old friends have advanced. I'll let them come out to meet you." After saying that, he thought about it, and 26 purple crystal scorpions flew out of the spirit beast bracelet. When they first came out, they flew crookedly. However, Lin Changqing had experience with these little guys, so he directly ordered them to fly. They kept flying around the two people, and their speed was getting faster and faster. Not long after, they all turned into purple lights. Lin Changqing nodded. Sure enough, they were the same as the previous ones, so he thought about it and they all landed in front of Lin Changqing and the others. Chen Zhiao was finally able to observe their changes carefully. She felt the spiritual pressure from more than 20 purple crystal scorpions. Only then did she know that they had all advanced to the second level. She couldn't help but open her eyes wide, with an unbelievable look on her face. A bit unbelievable question, Brother Qing, how is this possible? How can they advance to the second level in an instant? What kind of magic medicine did you give them? You didn't use all your resources to cultivate them, did you? Lin Changqing said with a smile. They can advance to the second level, so I must have invested some resources in them. But it's not as much as you think, and of course it will definitely not affect my own cultivation, so you can rest assured. Chen Zhiao was relieved when she heard him say that, and then she turned her attention to these second level guys. Seeing the purple crystal scorpions that had grown a little bigger after the promotion, they were still so crystal clear and beautiful, and she couldn't help wanting to touch them again. But she was afraid of being stung by them, and looked like she wanted to touch them but didn't dare to. Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing when he saw it. It seemed that she still remembered how powerful these little guys were, so she didn't dare to touch them directly. So she caught one and put it in her hand. In fact, she had already passed a contract and told it not to sting people or move around, so that Chen Zhiao could touch it enough at once. He himself got the monster meat, broke it into pieces, and began to feed these little guys. They had just successfully promoted and urgently needed to supplement these meats. Chen Zhiao also got some monster meat and fed it to a purple crystal scorpion in her hand. After playing with it for a while, she put it back into the scorpion group. Looking at these 26 second level purple crystal scorpions happily, needless to say, Lin Changqing must have greatly increased his strength this time. It felt like this time. The two of them followed their great-grandmother over there, facing an unknown environment, and they felt much more secure. Chapter 364, Getting the First and Second Grades. Anyway, she trusted these little guys very much. They had saved her twice before, and she had a certain understanding of their strength. And she had a feeling just now that she might not be able to defeat more than 3 second-level purple crystal scorpions, not to mention that there were 26 of them here. But they were all Lin Changqing's pets, that is, her family's pets. The more powerful they were, the happier she would be. So he said to Lin Changqing happily, "Congratulations, Brother Qing, with these little guys, you can be invincible in the same level again." However, didn't they have more than 100 before? There are only 26 here. Where are the rest? Lin Changqing nodded, smiled and said, "Yes, the rest are all over Aoyan Peak, and there are also 10 second-level purple crystal scorpions there. Those 10 were promoted to the second level earlier than these, and the rest are still at the peak of the first level. If you want to see, I can take you to see it later." Chen Ziya shook her head and said, "Forget it. The first-level purple crystal scorpions have been seen before, and the second-level ones are right in front of us. Let's see the rest when we have a chance in the future. By the way, Brother Qing, these little guys have reached the second level. What can they do?" Lin Changqing chuckled and introduced, "You have also seen their flying speed. They are only in the early second level now, and their speed is almost comparable to the flying speed of the cultivators in the late stage of foundation building. They also have a kind of innate spell, Purple Light Ray, which should be a mixed spell of light and soul. A purple light ray can break through a layer of foundation building period's defense shield, which is absolutely no problem. And if the body is hit, the effect is almost the same as being stung by their tail needles. I feel it may even be more powerful." Chen Ziya was a little bit unbelievable, and said a little uncertainly, "In this case, can 7 or 8 second-level purple crystal scorpions deal with late-stage foundation building cultivators? In fact, as long as the number of second-level purple crystal scorpions is large enough, killing purple mansion cultivators is not a problem." Lin Changqing shook his head and said, "It is true that 7 or 8 second-level purple crystal scorpions are enough to deal with late-stage foundation building cultivators. But to kill a purple mansion cultivator, it is estimated that 36 second-level purple crystal scorpions are needed together to have some possibility, and there is also a very high possibility that some purple crystal scorpions will be lost. So if there is no need, we should not provoke purple mansion cultivators casually. This is the safest." Chen Ziya nodded. She just said it casually and had no intention of provoking the purple mansion cultivators. However, with these little guys, even if Lin Changqing encountered a team of 5 or 6 late-stage foundation building cultivators, he would not be afraid. After the 26 purple crystal scorpions stopped eating meat, Lin Changqing took them all back into the spirit beast bracelet, and then threw 2 second-level spirit crystals in for them to chew slowly. Good news early in the morning made Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya feel very good. At this time, Sister Lin Changqing came over and saw that they were drinking tea, so she ran over immediately. "Brother, sister-in-law, you are still the most leisurely, and I am the hardest working. I have to catch insects every day and go to Aoyan Peak to work." When the two heard it, they all laughed. Lin Changqing helped his brother feed the spirit pet for half a month, and now he ran to complain. Chen Ziya pulled the sister-in-law to her side and poured her a cup of spirit tea. Lin Changqing looked at her and asked, "Linger, it's only been half a month and you're here to complain. Don't you want my gift?" Lin Changqing was drinking tea and couldn't help but roll her eyes at her brother when she heard Lin Changqing say this. Then she said, "When you came back, didn't you say that you would give me my kiu after half a month? It's been almost 20 days now. If I don't come again, Kiu's hair will almost grow out." Lin Changqing remembered this and knew that he had wronged his sister. So he smiled and said, "It's my fault. I forgot. Why don't we go over now?" Lin Changqing snorted and ignored Lin Changqing. He knew his sister's temper and knew that the more he paid attention to her, the more excited she would be. But after all, they would leave Qinghai in 2 months, so he decided to coax his sister today. So he took out a second-level middle-grade alchemy furnace from his storage bag, handed it to her and said, "Didn't you say you wanted to learn alchemy? This is a second-level middle-grade alchemy furnace with red refining crystal copper added. It has the effect of increasing the success rate of alchemy by 10%. Not to mention the price, it is enough for you to use until the late stage of foundation building. As for alchemy, I suggest you wait until you have built your foundation before starting to learn, so that you can concentrate your energy and practice to the foundation building stage as soon as possible. As soon as Lin Changqing took over the second-level middle-grade alchemy furnace, she immediately smiled, and her little unhappiness just now was thrown behind her. After playing with it for a while, she put the alchemy furnace into the storage bag and said, "Brother, if you leave, no one will teach me to make alchemy. So I guess I have to learn alchemy, and the fastest thing is after I build my foundation." Lin Changqing heard what his sister said, and felt that it made a lot of sense, so he didn't pay attention to this issue. So the three of them set off together and flew to Aoyan Peak. Lin Changqing hadn't been here for about half a month. However, as soon as he appeared, Chu Ai came to meet him from a distance. It still kept the habit of playing with Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing simply jumped onto its back with Chen Ziya in his arms, and then began to fly around Jiufeng Mountain. He threw Lin Changqing aside, making her scream in anger, and chased after him, shouting, "Stinky Lin Changqing, you don't want your sister now that you have a Taoist partner, right?" Lin Changqing laughed and ignored her. After Chu Ai flew a few circles, Lin Changqing let it land in the yard. After feeding Chu Ai and Chu each a Yulang pill, he checked the three young birds and found that they had indeed grown feathers. It was just right at this time. They would not be too young to be difficult to raise, and they were still ignorant, so the contract was most suitable now. He hardened his heart and began to communicate with Chu Ai and Chu. Chu Ai was okay. After all, he was raised by Lin Changqing, and he was easily persuaded by him and agreed directly. Chu was in trouble. She had been refusing to agree. Finally, Lin Changqing told her that she would be away for a long time in 2 months. It was inconvenient for them to take care of these young birds, so they would be contracted with their own clansmen. They would definitely get the best care. And when they come back, they can see them again. It's not that they won't see them anymore. Chu hesitated when he heard this. Finally, Lin Changqing took out his trump card and promised that if she agreed, he would give her 300-year-old red fruits. Chu agreed and handed the children over to the Lin family members for the contract. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 365 Semi-Mature. Chu personally handed over the three young birds to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing first took out the strongest one and gave it to his sister Lin Changling, and did not touch the rest for the time being. "I will go to my third grandfather later and let him deal with it. This is what I promised him at the time." Lin Changling finally received the golden-winged bird that she had been thinking about for a long time, and she was so happy. After she went back and contracted this little guy, she would get what she wanted. She had always wanted a spiritual pet like Chu Yi. After getting it, she couldn't wait to say hello to Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya, and went home directly. The three promised 200-year-old zoo fruits cannot be given to Chu immediately. It was only given one zoo fruit half a month ago, and it must not have been fully refined yet. After communicating with it, the three zoo fruits will be temporarily kept with Lin Changqing, and will be given to it at the right time. As soon as Lin Changling left, Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya were the only ones left in Aoyun Peak. So Lin Changqing said to her, "Yair, since you are here, I will take you to see those amethyst scorpions." Chen Ziya listened, chuckled and nodded, saying, "Then let's go and have a look." Then Lin Changqing took Chen Ziya by the hand and came to the place where the amethyst scorpions were basking in the sun. With a thought, all the little guys immediately gathered around him. The 10 second-level amethyst scorpions came the fastest. 10 purple lights flashed, and then 10 amethyst scorpions appeared in front of the two. Lin Changqing grabbed the one that had been in Chen Ziya's hand and let her play with it. He also grabbed one and put it in his hand to observe. He found that these 10 amethyst scorpions were a little bigger than the 26 that had just been promoted. The color was also darker, that is, the purple was a little richer. Chen Ziya observed for a while and said, "Brother Qing, since these little guys are already at the second stage, they should have entered the mature stage. Are they ready to raise offspring?" When Lin Changqing heard her ask this, he recalled the introduction on the strange insect list and said, "These purple crystal scorpions can only be considered half mature when they are at the second stage. The real full maturity should be when they reach the third stage, and the timing is right. Only then will they automatically mate and lay eggs." It's just that the contract I made with them at that time was a very special one. This kind of contract is a blood contract unique to the inheritance of insect cultivation, also called a blood succession contract. The characteristic is that before the spirit insect is born, the spirit insect is contracted with essence and blood, and then every 10 days or so, the contract is repeated with essence and blood, and it needs to be repeated at least 3 times. The more times it is done, the stronger the connection with the master's bloodline will be, even so strong that the master's bloodline or will penetrate into the soul. Even if offspring are born in the future, the soul will be born with the bloodline inheritance information of the master, which is equivalent to automatically recognizing the master at birth. Moreover, the spirit insects with bloodline contracts are closer to their masters, will not easily bite back at their masters, and are easier to control and command. Even if they are taken away by others in the future, they will not be able to recognize their masters again. As my bloodline information penetrates into their souls, there will be no problem if I give their eggs to our children in the future. However, others cannot give them. Even if I give them, others cannot recognize them as my masters. Unless I no longer contract them and let them reproduce automatically for several generations, as time goes by, my bloodline information will gradually dissipate in their souls. Only then will they be able to recognize their masters again. Otherwise, even if they are given to others, they will be helpless and have no way to drive them. Zhenzai was happy again after hearing this, but she was also a little disappointed. She was happy that their children would have more powerful means than others in the future. What was disappointing was that she liked these powerful little guys very much. She had originally thought of asking Lin Changqing for some to raise herself when they laid eggs. Now it seems impossible, so she feels a little disappointed. But thinking back, if there were no special circumstances, she and Lin Changqing would definitely be together often, which would be the same as what she had herself. So he said, "It's okay. I have Brother Qing to protect me anyway. And when I need them, you can lend them to me like before. I don't have to take care of them specially." This is also a good thing. Lin Changqing nodded and said with a smile, "Now these little guys are smarter than before. If you command them, it will definitely be easier." At this time, all the purple crystal scorpions came to the 2 of them. Lin Changqing must have fed the monster meat, so he got several first-level top-grade spiritual crystals and dried them out for them to chew slowly. Then he put all 10 second-level purple crystal scorpions into the spiritual beast bracelet, preparing to feed them the 100-year-old red fruit after returning. Now that Chenzai is here, it is not convenient to take it out. Then the 2 of them went to see the spiritual medicine in the spiritual field. These were taken care of by their aunt recently, so Lin Changqing didn't have to do anything. After walking around for a while, seeing that there was nothing to do, he let Chenzai go home first. The main reason was that when he saw these spiritual medicines just now, he thought of the alchemy furnace made of red crystal copper that he promised to give to his 6th grandfather when he was learning to refine the key-gathering pill. Now the alchemy furnace is in the storage bag, and he is going to go to the spiritual medicine pavilion to find his 6th grandfather to fulfill his promise. Flying directly to the spiritual medicine pavilion, Lin Changqing is now familiar with this place. After all, he has been here many times. When he was at the door, he happened to meet his second brother Lin Changqing, who was walking out. It seemed that Yu Jian was about to leave. He hadn't seen him for 7 or 8 months. Lin Changqing was still very happy to see him, and shouted, "Second brother. Where are you going?" Lin Changqing was in a good mood now, and said, "I am going to the General Affairs Hall. The task I have there has been completed by a clan member, and I am going to take a look now." "Ninth brother, are you here to find the 6th grandfather? He is not refining the elixir now, and is in the spiritual medicine garden. You go find him quickly. I'm leaving." After saying that, he ran away in a flash, looking like he was in a hurry. Lin Changqing was a little speechless and couldn't help shaking his head. He originally wanted to reminisce with Lin Changqing. Now he could only go directly to the spiritual medicine garden at the back to find 6th grandpa. He soon found him at the innermost part of the medicine garden. "6th grandpa. Why didn't you make pills today? Why do you come to fiddle with these spiritual medicines when you have time?" 6th grandpa glanced at him and said unhappily, "Why are you not at home with your beautiful Taoist partner? Why do you come to find an old man like me?" Lin Changqing said with a smile, "Of course I came to see you and bring you something." Chapter 366, Resisting Being a Patriarch. When 6th grandpa heard this, he couldn't help laughing and said, "You are so thoughtful. Are you going to send me Linglong fruit wine? Or a lighter Lingtao wine would be fine. Lin Changqing really didn't expect that sixth grandpa actually liked those two kinds of spiritual wine so much, and he even mentioned them in front of him. He could be said to be obsessed with them. However, the dozens of kilograms he got from Su Miniang last time had been drunk by them. This time he was not prepared at all. So he could only laugh dryly and said, "This time it's not spiritual wine. Those two kinds of spiritual wine were just bought by me by chance. I didn't expect you to like them so much. When I meet them next time, I will definitely buy more and bring them to you. I came here this time to give you an alchemy furnace. You will definitely like it when you see it." After saying that, he took out a second-level high-quality alchemy furnace and handed it to sixth grandpa respectfully. Sixth grandpa was a little surprised when he heard that Lin Changqing was here to give him an alchemy furnace. He took it and looked at it, and was really shocked. He could tell without refining that this was an alchemy furnace made of red refining crystal copper as the main material. The price was almost the same as a foundation building pill, and it might even be a little higher than that. The thing was too precious, so he quickly stuffed it back to Lin Changqing and said, "You are thoughtful, but I was just joking in the alchemy room last time, don't take it seriously. And this thing is very precious, keep it for yourself, you are also an alchemist, and you will definitely need it in the future." Lin Changqing knew that this would happen, but fortunately he had thought of a way to deal with it early. He smiled and patted his storage bag, and took out several second-level middle to high-quality alchemy furnaces. When sixth grandpa saw it, his eyes widened more than anything else, and he was so surprised that he didn't know what to say. Lin Changqing then explained, "Sixth grandpa, just accept it with confidence. You have seen this pile of alchemy furnaces. I still have quite a few of them, and one person can't use so many. So giving you an alchemy furnace can also allow you to refine more elixirs for the family, don't you think? Otherwise, these things will eventually be sold by me for spirit stones, which is really a pity, don't you think?" After saying that, he handed over the alchemy furnace in his hand. After seeing this pile of alchemy furnaces and hearing what Lin Changqing said, sixth grandpa hesitated for a moment and took the alchemy furnace from Lin Changqing's hand. He asked a little worriedly, "How do you have so many alchemy furnaces? What's going on? Did you rob that weapon refiner?" Lin Changqing could only tell him about sending Chen Ziya home to visit relatives, and by chance, he discovered these red copper furnaces, and entrusted his friends and King Insect to refine them into alchemy furnaces. Of course, he used the spring and autumn method to pass on the parts that were not convenient to say. After hearing this, sixth grandpa accepted it with confidence. However, he did not accept Lin Changqing's things in vain. He took out 2 jade slips from his storage bag and handed them to Lin Changqing. He said, "I can't accept such a valuable gift from you this time without expressing my gratitude. One of these 2 jade slips is my experience and understanding of alchemy in the past few decades. You can read it several times when you have time. If you don't understand, you can ask me. The other is the inheritance of a third-level middle-grade alchemist. This thing is mine, not the family's. But after I die, this inheritance will also be handed over to the family. There are 24 first-level pill recipes, 12 second-level pill recipes, and 6 third-level pill recipes. Although this is not a top-notch alchemist inheritance. But the things inside are enough for our family. There's even a recipe for the foundation building pill. You can take a good look at it." Lin Changqing was also a little surprised. He always thought that the family did not have the recipe for the foundation building pill. He didn't expect that sixth grandpa actually had it. It was really hidden. After receiving the 2 jade slips, he couldn't help but ask, "Then sixth grandpa, have you ever refined a foundation building pill?" Sixth grandpa rolled his eyes at him, and then said, "The foundation building pill is a second-level upper-grade pill recipe, and I am only a second-level middle-grade alchemist now. Even if I want to refine it, the clan leader will not agree. The most precious thing in the entire foundation building pill recipe is the foundation building fruit. Even if that thing is not used to refine pills, it can be used directly as a foundation building pill. Do you think the clan leader will use an opportunity to build a foundation to let me take a risk? If I were a second-level upper-grade alchemist now, I guess he would let me try it once or twice, but it is definitely impossible now." When Lin Changqing heard it, he also felt that it made sense. For the family, every opportunity to build a foundation is very precious, which is related to the rise and fall of the family. In this regard, Lin Changqing can sympathize with the clan leader very much. After all, He carries the fate of the family, and there are too many things to think about. This is also the reason why he has always been very resistant to being the clan leader in his heart. Without thinking, he knows that it must be very tiring. So Lin Changqing didn't say anything more about the question of refining the foundation building pill. He asked the sixth grandfather a few more questions about alchemy. After getting the answers, he told him to leave. Then he left the spiritual medicine pavilion directly and flew to the family school. He wanted to find the third grandfather, and there were two young golden-winged birds to hand over to him. When he arrived at the family school, a class was in progress, and Lin Changqing stood outside and listened for a while. The content of the teaching was also what he had learned before. Looking at the three ignorant teenagers inside, Lin Changqing couldn't help but think of himself in the past. At that time, he was also sitting in this place, worrying about not being able to draw ki into the body. Now, in the blink of an eye, so many years have passed, and he has successfully built the foundation. At this time, the third grandfather also found Lin Changqing, but he did not stop the class, but continued to teach normally. After the time was up, the three teenagers were allowed to leave. When the three little guys saw Lin Changqing, they all shouted, "Ninth brother!" Lin Changqing gave each of them a bottle of ki-gathering pill that he had refined, which made the three of them very happy. Several people took the things, thanked politely, and left. Then the third grandfather came out and said, "Zio Kinger, how come you have time to come to my place today?" Lin Changqing said with a smile, "Hello, third grandfather. I came here today because I have good news to tell you. Chuai, Chuer, and their three offspring have been born for a while and have begun to grow hair. Today, we have already negotiated with them to hand over the three little guys to the family to raise. Except for one that was taken away by my sister Lin Changqing, there are two left. I came here today to tell the third grandfather and ask you to see who is the most suitable one to be arranged." Chapter 367, Hands-Off Shopkeeper. When the third grandfather heard the news, he was so happy that he kept saying, "That's great. With these two golden-winged birds, the casualties of the clan members of the family monster hunting team will be smaller in the future. Many of them are students I taught. Every year, I see one or two fewer of them. I feel very sad, but I can't do anything about it." Lin Changqing couldn't help but sigh in his heart. After all, by now, he already knew what was going on. The small world they were in was actually very small, and it could even be said to be a small place. The various resources were definitely not as good as those outside. Although each family must be responsible for clearing the monsters in a certain area of the Qinghai Mountains, it seems that clan members often die because of monster hunting. But think about it the other way around. Isn't this a benefit for each family? Otherwise, without this monster hunting task, how can many clan members who don't have the skills of cultivation maintain their cultivation? Can't they let the family keep supporting them? Therefore, for each family, this monster hunting task is both a responsibility and a benefit for them. Therefore, this can also be said to be the foundation for the maintenance of these ordinary immortal cultivation families. But he couldn't explain this to the third grandfather, let alone casually reveal that they were leaving here. So he didn't want to continue discussing this issue, so he said, "Third grandfather. Otherwise, let's go and see the two little guys together. If there's no problem, you can take them away directly when the time comes. As for the specific arrangements for the two tribesmen, I won't ask, but I guess Chuai and Chuer should go to see them often, so I'll tell you first." The third grandfather nodded and said with a smile, "It's okay for Chuai and Chuer to come and see. Anyway, they are within the range of Jiufeng Mountain. They can fly there in 2 steps. The tribesmen we found will definitely take good care of the two little guys. Don't worry, let's go to Aoyan Peak now." Lin Changqing nodded, and the two of them flew straight to Aoyan Peak on their swords. In just a moment, the two saw Chuai coming to meet them, and then with its company, the two people and the bird landed in the yard of Aoyan Peak. When the third grandfather saw Chuai just now, his eyes were almost embedded in it. When Chuai was promoted, there was a lot of noise. The cultivators of the whole family should have sensed it, so basically everyone in the family knew that it was a second-level spirit beast. Now there are only a few foundation-building cultivators in the family. Therefore, a second-level spirit beast is already a very important force for the family. So the third grandfather is really full of praise for Chuai now. Correspondingly, he also pays more attention to the two little guys. Under the watchful eyes of Chuai and Chuer, Lin Changqing took the two little guys out of the nest and handed them to the third grandfather. The third grandfather carefully held them in his arms, and then specially asked for Lin Changqing's identity jade card and transferred 3,000 family contribution points to him. Lin Changqing looked at it and couldn't help but said, "Third grandfather, you gave too much? Didn't we agree at that time that the family would subsidize 1,000 family contribution points for each golden-winged bird cub?" Third grandfather was in a good mood now. He waved his hand happily and said, "I didn't give too much. Now Chuai has been promoted to the second level, so its descendants must have greater potential. Of course, we can't follow the previous standards. Therefore, I calculated 1,500 contribution points for each one. I have already talked to the clan leader about this issue in advance, and he agreed. So don't worry, your third grandfather is not old and confused yet." When Lin Changqing heard this, he could only laugh twice. Although he didn't care about such a small contribution point, since the family was willing to give it, he would just take it. Anyway, there were already a lot of contribution points on his identity jade card, and 1,000 more would be just like that. Then Lin Changqing took the initiative to talk about some of his experiences and feelings in raising golden-winged birds, mainly because he was afraid that others had no experience and would spoil the two little guys. However, third grandfather was afraid that he would not remember it, so he asked Lin Changqing to organize these contents into a book and then give it to him. Lin Changqing had no choice but to agree, and then the third grandfather took the two little guys away. When the third grandfather left, Chuer followed him worriedly, probably to see how the third grandfather would arrange his children. Chuai, on the other hand, was calm and not nervous at all, and stayed with Lin Changqing here all the time. But it just so happened that there were only the master and servants left here, so Lin Changqing directly took out 100-year-old red fruit from the storage bag and fed it to it. Chuai was still very happy to get a red fruit, and wanted to play with Lin Changqing, but now it was not small. Lin Changqing didn't dare to let it mess around, and after stroking it for a while, he flew back to his own yard. After saying hello to Chen Ziya, he went directly to the study. He wanted to sort out the experience of cultivating the golden-winged bird as soon as possible and hand it over to the third grandfather, so that it would be convenient for a future clansman to cultivate the golden-winged bird, which could be regarded as a contribution to the family. Lin Changqing spent more than 2 hours in the study room, sorting out the things and providing some of his own suggestions. Then he went to the family school and handed the sorted things to the third grandfather, so the matter came to an end. Because in about 2 months, he and Chen Ziya will leave here, so he hopes to arrange everything as much as possible before leaving. Other things are easy to say, but he has not yet figured out how to arrange the 5 earth armor beasts under his command, 2 large and 3 small. Should he take them away together, or let them stay in the familiar Qinghai Mountains? He has not made up his mind yet. After thinking about it, he decided to take some time to see how they are doing after finishing the spiritual meal in the evening. Jin Yi, Jin they have gone out to find new veins suitable for them since they were promoted to the second level. And up to now, they have been looking for a very long time, and I don't know if they have found it. However, in terms of prospecting, the Earth Armor Beast cannot be said to be the best, but at least it should be among the best. It is impossible that it has not found a new vein for so long. Thinking of this, Lin Changqing suddenly had an idea. These two guys would not just throw their 3 children to Lin Changqing and leave them alone. They would just become the hands-off boss and let him be their nanny. Chapter 368 Recalling the Earth Armor Beast. Then they piled up their meat in the newly found mine. If that was the case, Lin Changqing would have to deal with them. However, this was just his own guess. He would have to wait until he found Jin Yi, Jin and them to know what was going on. Just at this time, Chen Ziya came to find Lin Changqing because it was almost time for the two to go to their parents' house for dinner. This was their habit. Neither Chen Ziya nor Lin Changqing knew how to cook spiritual food, so they still went to their parents' house every day to eat and drink. Of course, this was also a time to enjoy the family together. Both Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya enjoyed their current life very much. After the two had finished their spiritual food at their parents' house, they returned to their own yard. It was already 2 hours later. Then Lin Changqing went into the practice room, activated the small 5-element maze array, and directly entered the inner space. Then he communicated with Lin Changqing in his mind and asked it to start traveling to the spatial coordinates of the mine. After feeding the deer, he played with them again. He hadn't been in for more than half a month, and the deer were very enthusiastic. Especially Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin, they were very happy to see Lin Changqing, and kept getting into his arms. This was a little game between them. However, Lin Changqing's attention was not on them, but on Lu Yaoguang and Lu Xiaoming. Because their auras were very stable and mellow, they had reached the peak of the late first stage, and they were ready to advance to the second stage. This was very good news for him. After all, the second-level spiritual plant master and the first-level spiritual plant master were two different concepts. At least in terms of the durability of the birth-inducing technique, the second level was much stronger. In short, after they were promoted, they could do more work for Lin Changqing and perform more birth-inducing techniques every day. So after dealing with Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin, he called Lu Yaoguang and Lu Xiaomi over. He told them directly through the contract that he was going to give them the 100 flowers soul-intoxicating wine to advance them to the second stage. When Lu Yaoguang and Lu Xiaomi heard this, they immediately became excited. Lu Xiaomi kept shouting yo yo yo, excitedly. She even imitated Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin and went straight into Lin Changqing's arms. Lu Yaoguang also wanted to join in the fun, but was rejected by Lin Changqing. The horns on this guy's head were so sharp that Lin Changqing couldn't bear it. However, after being rejected by Lin Changqing, it ran 2 circles in the inner space to vent its excitement, and then returned to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing certainly wouldn't take out the 100 flowers drunken soul wine now, otherwise all the 3-colored ear here would definitely become excited. At that time, they would still come around him and entangle him, and he couldn't stand these guys. Now he is very experienced. So he took Lu Yaoguang and Lu Xiaomi directly to the yard, the room he reserved for himself. As usual, he first put on a spiritual shield to prevent the smell of Beihuzuhan liquor from contaminating him and causing unnecessary trouble. Then he took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle and made 2 balls of Beihuzuhan liquor of suitable size. Lu Yaoguang and Lu Xiaomi immediately went forward and swallowed them in one gulp. They called out to Lin Changqing a few times to please him, and then they soon fell into deep sleep. There was a formation to protect them, so there was no need to worry about being accidentally disturbed by anyone. So Lin Changqing left the room directly, and after explaining the matter of Lu Yaoguang and Lu Xiaomi to Su Miniang, he withdrew from the inner space. Then he appeared directly in the mine cave, walked forward for a distance, and soon saw 3 small earth armor beasts mining. When they saw Lin Changqing, they were so happy that they immediately rushed towards him regardless of everything. They surrounded him and started calling, but were soon stopped by Lin Changqing. The main reason was that he couldn't stand their calls. Anyway, this kind of sound always felt a little creepy after hearing it. And Lin Changqing knew very well what they wanted, so he found a suitable place, started to cut the monster meat, and then fed them. Seeing them eating voraciously, he knew that Jin Yi and Jin must not have come back recently. After a while, after finally feeding the 3 little guys, he fed them a Yuling pill respectively. Then he began to communicate with them through the contract, mainly asking if their parents had come back recently. Unexpectedly, they actually said that their mother had come back once. When Lin Changqing asked again about the time, they could not describe it clearly this time. After thinking about it, he decided to call Jin Yi and Jin back once, and ask them clearly before making plans. He carefully sensed through the contract and found that the distance between here and them should be quite far, and it would probably take a lot of time to come back. However, Lin Changqing still conveyed the strong intention to call them back through the contract. The distance was too far, so he could only convey a general meaning, and too complicated things could not be conveyed. Fortunately, he believed that at this distance, it should be no problem to convey a message to call them back, but they might need a few days to come back. So he decided to come again in a few days, when Jin Yi and Jin should be here. But before that, he still had something to do, which was to collect the ore dug out by the 3 little guys. The amount of ore was not too much, after all, their mining efficiency could not be compared with their parents'. But Lin Changqing did not mind, anyway, just to replenish the loss in the inner space. You know, when the 3 little guys were in the inner space, they consumed a lot of the ore stored by Lin Changqing. These were the things he prepared for the next generation of purple crystal scorpions. Of course, he had to try to replenish them as much as possible. Finally, he took out 100-year-old red fruit, roughly divided it into 3 equal parts, and fed it to the 3 little guys, as a purchase of the ore they dug. Telling them that he would come back in a few days, and then with the reluctance of the little guys, Lin Changqing returned to the inner space. Thinking that there was not much green JT in his storage bag, he went to the yard, the room where things were stored, and took 2 boxes of green JT. The reason why the consumption of green JT is so large is that when Chen Zai is deducing the formation, she especially likes to brew a pot of green JT to refresh her mind. Chapter 369 Mysterious Spirit Gold. Sometimes Chen Zai's long deductions may even consume more than 1 or 2 pots. In addition, Lin Changqing himself likes to drink it, so this thing is consumed in particular here. Fortunately, Lin Changqing doesn't have much other things, but he has a lot of green JT. After all, there are dozens of acres of green JT trees planted in the inner space. It is specially provided for Lin Changqing to use, and it is enough for him to use. Then he climbed up the tree himself and got 2 large boxes of spiritual peaches and linglong fruits. Only then was he satisfied and ready to exit the inner space. Unexpectedly, at this time, the topaz queen bee flew over and danced the bee dance in front of him, which was actually flying around in front of him. When Lin Changqing saw it like this, he couldn't help laughing. He always forgot about this little guy. Now it is probably here to settle accounts with him. Sure enough, the queen bee passed it through the contract. Why doesn't it have the Yulang pill? Lin Changqing could only smile and took out the Yulang pill from the storage bag, then fiddled with it, and after it dissolved, he sent it to the entrance of the hive. The queen bee saw this and flew back to the hive contentedly. Lin Changqing also saw a small hive not far away. This should be the queen bee, the new queen bee cultivated according to Lin Changqing's order. Originally, he wanted to raise this new golden spotted topaz bee colony on Aoyan Peak, but he would leave in 2 months. He would not be able to manage it by then, so he still had to see how to deal with it. If not, he would leave it to his mother. He patrolled the inner space again, and after making sure there was no problem, he really exited the inner space. He returned to his own practice room. At this time, more than 2 hours had passed since he came in. Time was tight, so Lin Changqing hurriedly practiced. He was still practicing magic spells and supernatural powers in the Thunder Sutra. He practiced them one by one. He had to go find Chen Zai later. The great-grandmother's Yin-Yang Harmony Sutra was not given for nothing, and the 2 of them were addicted to it. Basically, they practiced this technique every day. 5 days just passed in a flash. That morning, after he and Chen Zai finished drinking the JT, Lin Changqing went into the practice room. After activating the magic circle, he entered the inner space again and asked Lin Changqing to help him go to the mine. 5 days have passed since the last recall order was issued. Lin Changqing estimated that Jin Yi and Jin Er should have returned to the mine by now. So he planned to go to the mine again today. Sure enough, when he arrived at the mine, Jin Yi and Jin Er were lying on the ground leisurely, chewing ore, and then watching the 3 little guys digging. They had been away for so long, and there were some changes on their bodies. Their bodies were a little bigger than before, and the gold on their bodies was brighter. It was obvious that they must have been living very well recently. No wonder Lin Changqing had to issue a recall order for them to come back. However, the 5 of them were still very happy to see Lin Changqing, and all of them surrounded him. Lin Changqing also saw some monster skeletons in the corner of the mine, and knew that they must be brought by Jin Yi and Jin Er to the 3 little guys. So he didn't take out monster meat to feed them, but only fed each of the 3 little ones a nurturing spirit pill, and then sent the 3 little guys to continue mining. He stroked the 2 stronger big guys, and then began to communicate with them through the contract. He told them that he would leave here in a while, and asked them if they wanted to leave with him. Jin Yi and Jin Er communicated for a while, and finally rejected Lin Changqing, and told him that they had found a 2nd-level mineral vein suitable for them at the junction of the outer and inner circumference of Qingyuan mountain range. They didn't want to leave this familiar place. If they left, they would not be able to find the resources they needed. Then Jin Yi was still in the corner, holding a large piece of golden ore out, placed it in front of Lin Changqing, and called out to him twice with pride. Lin Changqing's mind moved, and he immediately picked up the ore. He didn't expect the ore to be quite heavy. After weighing it, he estimated that it was at least more than 200 kilograms. He turned it over and over in his hand and studied it, thinking that it should be a kind of metal ore. However, he didn't know how to refine weapons, so he couldn't tell what kind of spiritual ore it was. But it didn't matter, he still had a way, and immediately took out a weapon refining inheritance he got in the Jiang secret realm. He put it directly on his forehead and began to search, and soon found the 2nd-level spiritual material metal spiritual ore. He began to compare that part one by one. Finally, he found two second-level spiritual materials that were similar to the ore in his hand. One is called Zuanlingjin, which belongs to the second-level middle-grade spiritual material. It is a kind of spiritual gold with a relatively hard texture. It is generally used to make defensive spiritual tools. And the price is quite expensive. A piece of Zuanlingjin is about 3,000 to 4,000 spiritual stones. The other is called Jinpajin, which belongs to the second-level upper-grade spiritual material and is a spiritual gold with a very obvious gold property. It is a spiritual material preferred by weapon refiners because it is sharp and has excellent monoconductivity. It is generally used to make spiritual tools such as flying swords. Moreover, it is more expensive than Zuanling gold. One portion requires about 5,000 to 6,000 spiritual stones. Moreover, both types of spiritual gold can be refined again. About 10 to 15 portions of spiritual gold can be refined again into third-level Zuanling crystal gold or Jinpo crystal gold. After weighing it, Lin Changqing felt that the ore in his hand was most likely the ore of Zuanling gold. Because the properties of Zuanling gold tend to be defensive, it is more in line with the properties of Jin Yi, Jin Er, and the scales on their bodies. Although it is only a second-level medium quality, Lin Changqing is also excited and wants to hand over this spiritual mine to the family. At that time, the family will not lack resources. But when he thought of the location of this spiritual mine, Lin Changqing couldn't help sighing. This place is too far away from the family, and it is still unrealistic to hand it over to the family. After thinking it through, he began to communicate with Jin Yi again, knowing that the place is 3 or 4 days away from here. And the size of the vein they found should not be small. After all, they have been digging for several months and have not yet reached the bottom. Therefore, this Zuanling gold vein should be at least medium-sized. If converted into spiritual stones, it is estimated to be at least tens of millions of spiritual stones. The problem is that it takes 3 or 4 days for Jin Yi and Jin Er to go there. Even if he is faster, it will take at least 2 days. But he can't disappear for that long. Is he going to tell Chen Ziya that he will retreat for 3 or 5 days? Chapter 370, Raising an Army to Punish the Crime. Moreover, this mineral vein was found by Jin Yi and Jin Er, so at least they had to wait until they no longer needed it before Lin Changqing could absorb and digest it. Anyway, he would definitely not do anything to rob his spirit beast of its things. But no matter, sooner or later, he still had to go there once, at least to the next space mark, so that it would be convenient to operate in the future. So after thinking about it, it was really necessary to talk to Chen Ziya, but he had been in seclusion for a few days. After thinking it through, Lin Changqing communicated with Jin Yi and agreed to let them wait for another 2 days, and then he would go to see the new mineral vein they found together. After that, after feeding Jin Yi and Jin Er, and nurturing pale and 100-year-old red fruit, Lin Changqing left. When he just came out of the practice room, he found that the house was quite lively. His sister Lin Changqing brought Lin Changqing to visit, and Chen Ziya was greeting them. The three of them seemed to be chatting happily. As soon as Lin Changqing came out, he was seen by Lin Changqing. "Brother Jiu, come here quickly. You found us a sister-in-law quietly without informing us. Are you afraid that we will bankrupt you?" Lin Changqing began to question him. Lin Changqing also knew about this matter. He thought that he had gone too far by not informing them. So he quickly explained, "Isn't this a special situation? Your sister-in-law is an inner disciple of Qingyun sect, but she has not officially withdrawn from Qingyun sect yet. So the great-grandmother asked us to keep everything simple. At that time, we only found the clan leader and several elders to witness it. We haven't held the real reunion ceremony yet. When the real reunion ceremony is held, we will definitely tell everyone." Don't worry, Lin Changqing knew what was going on when she heard it, but she didn't plan to let him go so easily. After all, they grew up together. It would be a big mistake not to inform them of such a big thing, so they still had to accept their punishment. With a turn of his eyes, he immediately had an idea, so he said, "Anyway, no matter what, if you want to make up a table for us, we will eat and drink your food." As soon as Lin Changqing finished speaking, Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya laughed. Lin Changqing also felt that he should invite his friends to make up for it, and he should let Chen Ziya get to know everyone, so that it would be convenient for everyone to move around in the future. So he nodded and said, "There is no way to make up a table. Neither you nor I can cook spiritual food, so there is no way to make up for it. But there are some spiritual fruits, spiritual teas, and spiritual wines here, So why don't you make do with them? When Lin Changqing heard about spiritual wine, he was quite interested and couldn't help asking, Brother Jiu, what kind of spiritual wine are you talking about? Is it the spiritual peach wine and linglong fruit wine that Sister Changling mentioned? Are they really that delicious? Lin Changqing realized that it was his sister who promoted it for him, and couldn't help glaring at her. Then he said helplessly, the two kinds of spirit wine you mentioned, I consumed a lot last time, and now there is only a little left. I wanted to keep it for myself, but I didn't expect that you guys still knew about it, so I can only give it to you. Hearing Lin Changqing say this, his sister and Lin Changlian cheered, as if they had picked up a great bargain. Then Lin Changlian pulled his sister and ran out, probably to inform Lin Changji, Lin Changhao and others. Lin Changqing could only say to Zhen Ziya, Yair. The two of them should go to call people. Wait a minute, let me introduce you to some friends who grew up with me. Zhen Ziya nodded and chuckled, that's good. I should get to know them. After all, they are friends who grew up with Brother Qing. I have wanted to get to know them for a long time. Lin Changqing was very relieved to hear her say this. He knew Chen Ziya's personality. In essence, she prefers quietness. And she doesn't like making friends. She can say such words entirely because of him. So he said, it's okay. They are still easy to get along with. You will know when you meet them later. I will go and prepare some things to entertain them later. Chen Ziya heard it and said, then I will also prepare some Yuluchen tea. Sisters Changling and Changlian will probably like it. Lin Changqing nodded, knowing that she must not have much Yuluchen tea left. It was precious to be able to take it out to entertain guests. So the two of them went back to prepare, and Lin Changqing entered the inner space and found Su Miniang. He got more than 100 kilograms of spiritual wine from her. Basically, Su Miniang's inventory was almost cleared out by him, so she could only seize the time and brew it again. Lin Changqing also got 2 large boxes of various ordinary spiritual fruits, and then went out with the spiritual wine. Still in the pavilion in the yard, Chen Ziya had been waiting there for a long time. Lin Changqing took out both the spiritual fruits and spiritual wine. However, he only took out a pot of 5 kilograms of each of the 2 spiritual wines, and a total of 10 kilograms should be enough. They were all young guys who had never experienced the test of alcohol. Maybe they could knock down 1 or 2 of them in a while. Soon, 5 people came together. When the friends came, they all confronted Lin Changqing with questions. Lin Changqing could only apologize to them with a smile, and formally introduced Chen Ziya to everyone. Chen Ziya did not hide her cultivation. Although she also greeted everyone with a smile, the 3 friends were a little bit uncomfortable. Fortunately, they were all young guys. After a few glasses of spirit wine, everyone became familiar with each other, and the friends gradually relaxed. The 9th sister-in-law and the younger sister-in-law shouted, and began to ask Chen Ziya about all kinds of things she had seen in Qingyuan sect. After all, for them, Qingyuan sect was the upper sect of the Lin family, and it was still very mysterious, and they were very curious about the things of Qingyuan sect. Chen Ziya answered their questions one by one, and took the initiative to introduce some things about Qingyuan sect. Of course, these are all things that can be announced to the public, so that everyone can have a general understanding of Qingyuan sect, and it can also satisfy the curiosity of the friends. Then everyone started to make a fuss again. They were very interested in how Lin Changqing and the other person got together. Chen Ziya was embarrassed to answer this question, and her face turned red. In the end, Lin Changqing used the spring and autumn style to fool her. Next, it was the 10th brother Lin Changhao who told Chen Ziya about the good things Lin Changqing did when he was a child. Lin Changji and Lin Changqing supplemented it and went through all the good things they did when they were young. In fact, Lin Changqing told her a lot of things, but there were also some things that Lin Changqing didn't say. Anyway, Chen Ziya listened with relish. Chapter 371, Entering Qingyuan Mountains Again. Just like this, a few hours passed. Everyone was chatting happily and consuming a lot of spirit wine. In the end, a total of 20 kilograms of spirit wine were consumed. Anyway, except for Lin Changqing, only Lin Changlian seemed to be somewhat sober. Lin Changji and the others all fell down. Even Chen Ziya fell drunk in his arms. It was the first time that Lin Changqing knew that Chen Ziya had such a heroic side. Lin Changqing could only settle his sister and Chen Ziya nearby. Fortunately, only his sister was a little dishonest as a drunkard. Chen Ziya was also very quiet when she was drunk. Then, together with Lin Changlian, He sent the drunken friends home one by one, and then came back to clean up the mess. The next day, when Chen Ziya woke up in his arms, she knew that she was drunk, but she was very shy and embarrassed. She couldn't help but ask, "Brother Qing, I was drunk, did I do anything out of the ordinary?" Lin Changqing couldn't help but laugh and said, "It's not that out of the ordinary. You just told me that you weren't drunk, and then you fell asleep in my arms." Chen Ziya felt relieved after hearing this. After all, there was no joke. It just interrupted her and Lin Changqing's practice plan last night. Then she couldn't help but ask about the situation of others yesterday. When Chen Ziya heard that everyone was basically drunk, she was no longer worried about being laughed at by everyone. Lin Changqing told her that he would start to prepare for a few days of retreat tomorrow, so she didn't have to worry. Chen Ziya didn't feel anything wrong. After all, she knew that Lin Changqing practiced very hard, and it was normal to retreat for a few days, so she simply agreed. Seeing that Chen Ziya had woken up and didn't take care of her, Lin Changqing began to complete his morning exercises every morning. After completing the practice of the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra, Lin Changqing left the yard and flew straight to Aoyan Peak on his sword. After all, I will set out with Jin Yi and the others tomorrow to go to the new mineral vein they found, which is within the range of Qingyuan mountain range after all. It feels safer to bring Chuyi and Shu'er with me. Having them by my side is like having 2 more pairs of eyes. When I was halfway through the flight, Chuyi and Shu'er came to meet me. Now Shu'er didn't have to take care of the 3 little guys, and he was finally relieved. Riding on Chuyi, he flew around Jiufeng mountain for a few circles, and finally returned to the yard of Aoyan Peak. I told them about the trip to Qingyuan mountain range tomorrow through the contract, and put Chuyi and the others into the spirit beast bracelet. I went to see those first-level purple crystal snails again. These little guys Lin Changqing didn't plan to take with him this time. If I took them all away, it would be hard to explain. After all, why would I take them with me during the retreat? It would be better to let them stay here, just as a cover for Lin Changqing. After leaving them a few first-level high-quality spirit crystals, Lin Changqing returned to his yard. Seeing his sister and Lin Changqing coming to visit again, and talking and laughing with Chen Ziya and the other 2, Lin Changqing ignored them. After saying hello, he went back to the practice room. He still had a lot of spiritual medicines for refining key gathering pills, and he wanted to digest more of them while he had time. He also prepared the things needed for refining pills. In fact, the most important thing was that he was eager to try it. He wanted to try the 2nd-level low-grade alchemy furnace he had just obtained to see if this furnace made of red crystal copper as the main material was really that magical. There was no special alchemy room in their yard, so they used the practice room directly. Activate the restrictions in the practice room to avoid being disturbed. Take out the new 2nd-level alchemy furnace and cast a spell on the furnace. The furnace became several times larger, then use the fire-starting spell to ignite a piece of red inkstone and put it under the alchemy furnace. He started to preheat the furnace, and then when he felt it was about right, he started to put in the first main ingredient, iron wire grass, and then. In this way, Lin Changqing kept refining for more than 6 or 7 hours, and refined nearly 30 furnaces of key gathering pills in total. Except for the first 2 furnaces that were used by experienced people, and the speed was relatively slow. In fact, he kept refining 1 furnace within a quarter of an hour. He failed twice in the first 10 furnaces, and once in the middle 10 furnaces. Lin Changqing did not fail again in the last 10 furnaces. From 3 or 4 pills in the first furnace, to 5 or 6 in the later ones, and even 7 pills in the last furnace, it was a relatively big improvement. However, it was still far from the skill of 6th Grandpa, who could make 10 full pills every time. It is estimated that at least a few hundred furnaces, or even thousands of furnaces of key gathering pills, will be needed to barely reach the level of 6th Grandpa. Moreover, most of the 140 or 50 pills he refined were low-grade key gathering pills, and there were only a dozen medium-grade pills in total, which were not enough for 2 bottles. That is to say, it takes about 2 furnaces of key gathering pills to produce a medium-quality pill. The most important thing is that he himself doesn't even like the key gathering pills he made this time, let alone use them. So he just found some bottles to pack them up and give them to his younger brothers and sisters in the future. Anyway, they are not worth a few spiritual stones. After extinguishing the unburned red inkstone and packing up the things for refining pills, he left the practice room. It was almost time. He and Chen Ziya were going to have dinner with their parents. He also had to tell his family about his retreat so that they wouldn't worry. After the two of them finished their spiritual meal, they got together again and chatted for a while before coming back. Lin Changqing felt that Chen Ziya had become more worldly since she came to the Lin family. Moreover, she now gets along well with Lin Changqing's family and friends, and he felt that this was good. Because he was going to retreat tomorrow, he decided to accompany Chen Ziya tonight and complete the tasks he left behind last night by working overtime. The next morning, Lin Changqing entered the training room, activated the prohibition and the maze array, and then officially went into seclusion. After entering the inner space, Lin Changqing sent him to the mine cave, and he met up with Jin Yi and Jinner. Then he fed the three little guys some monster meat and soul-erasing pills, and then set off directly. After leaving the mine cave, led by Jin Yi and the others, they headed towards the inner circle of the Qingyuan Mountains. At this time, Chu Yi and Chu were flying over his head. Lin Changqing was riding on Jin Yi now, but to be honest, it was not comfortable at all, and his body was all hard scales. It was really not comfortable at all, but Liu Yaoqiang and the others wanted to stimulate the birth of spiritual medicine, and he couldn't get it out as a mount now, so he could only make do with it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 372, It's hard to persuade the damn ghost with good words. He now has 2 second-level spirit beasts accompanying him, so other demon beasts still dare not come to cause trouble. On the contrary, Lin Changqing was uncomfortable sitting down, and whenever he encountered a demon beast, he would find an excuse to come down and cause trouble for them. Of course, Lin Changqing did this to store more demon beast meat for himself. After all, he had a lot of demon beasts under his command, and the consumption of demon beast meat was increasing all the time. Now his location is still in the outer part of the Qingyuan Mountains, so he is still quite casual. However, after 2 days of going deeper, he dared not do this, so the first day passed without any danger. In addition to hunting down a group of 20 or 30 swift wolves, there were 3 red-armored rhinos, 2 big and 1 small, who looked like a family. The others were single demon beasts. Lin Changqing collected the blood of these demon beasts and prepared to give it to Zhao Linayu for processing. Some spiritual rice in the inner space needs this blood to grow. Lin Changqing did not need to hurry on his own. He sat on Shuai, and his spiritual sense was always open, so he still found a lot of spiritual medicines today, about more than 20 kinds. Most of the spiritual medicines were not mature, but Lin Changqing didn't care. Whenever he encountered them, he would transplant them. Unless they were too common spiritual medicines, and there were already quite a few in the inner space, he would let them go. Therefore, they had searched very thoroughly along the way, and they were just short of scraping the ground 3 feet. He didn't have the idea of leaving them for future generations, because leaving them would be a bargain for others. When it was completely dark, he found a suitable place to camp and released 36 second-level purple crystals. They formed 2 defensive circles, and as for Chuai and Shure, he took them back into the Spirit Beast bracelet to rest. Jinai and Jiner were not put into the Spirit Beast bracelet. After all, they were second-level Spirit Beasts. Leaving them outside to deter others would allow Lin Changqing to sleep peacefully. The next morning, he packed up and continued on his way without wasting time. He had already communicated with Jinai and asked them to speed up as much as possible and try to reach the destination in 3 days. However, he wanted to be quick, but things still happened to him. In fact, Chu Ai had already warned him, but he thought it should be a demon hunting team of a certain family, so he didn't care much and was about to pass through the gap between them. Unexpectedly, it was like poking a hornet's nest. 3 or 4 groups of 5 people immediately surrounded his position. After receiving Chu Ai's warning again, he felt that something was wrong and immediately put away Jin Yi and Jinner. He chose a favorable terrain and released all 36 purple crystal scorpions to form a relatively large ambush circle. Then he put on the hidden spirit mask to avoid being remembered by others, and then stood still and waited for others to come to him. In a short while, 4 teams surrounded Lin Changqing. These people were quite well-mannered. No one spoke quietly. It was obvious that they were waiting for someone around Lin Changqing, but Lin Changqing was not nervous at all. The cultivators surrounding him were all at the 7th, 8th, and 9th levels of key refining. Although there were a large number of them, about 20 in total, he could kill them all in an instant if necessary. So he was calm and composed, not saying anything, just waiting to see what they were going to do. Soon, 2 sword lights flew over here and landed outside the encirclement, revealing the figures of 2 middle-aged foundation-building cultivators. Lin Changqing scanned them with his spiritual sense and knew that one was in the middle stage of foundation building and the other in the late stage of foundation building, and their strength should be just about acceptable. At this time, the cultivator in the late stage of foundation building looked Lin Changqing up and down for a while, and seeing Lin Changqing's calm appearance, he really couldn't make up his mind for a while. After thinking for a while, he opened his mouth and said, "What is your name, fellow Taoist? Why are you here alone at this time?" Lin Changqing also glanced at him and said expressionlessly, "My surname is Gao. Isn't this place the outskirts of Qinghai mountain range? Can anyone come here? It should be normal for me to come here to hunt monsters and collect herbs. When did this become your home? I come here and am surrounded and interrogated by you. What do you mean by surrounding me now? Do you want to do business without any capital?" After hearing this, the cultivator in the middle stage of foundation building felt that the cultivator trapped by them was a bit arrogant and didn't know his own life. So he couldn't help but said loudly, "Bullshit. We are not robbers, and we don't plan to do any business without capital. But I advise you to be honest, so as not to lose your life here." At this time, the cultivator in the late stage of foundation building also said, "This fellow Taoist Gao, you really came at the wrong time this time. It happened that we were here, and there were some things to do, which were not convenient to leak out, so now we can only wrong you. But we have no ill intentions, as long as Taoist does not resist and stays in the place we specify for a while. We will definitely verify Taoist's personal safety, and when Taoist leaves, we will also send 5,000 spirit stones as a thank you gift. How do you feel?" After saying that, he also signaled the surrounding cultivators with his eyes, obviously wanting Lin Changqing to recognize the situation he was in now. But they took it for granted. Lin Changqing would never surrender, and he would not hand over his life to others. Not to mention that life and death are in the thoughts of others. Just after losing freedom, someone will definitely check the things on his body. When others see so many spiritual objects, they will definitely not be able to keep anything. Even if they wanted to imprison him for a period of time, he couldn't accept it. He just told Chen Ziyi that he would retreat for a few days, but he didn't have time to play with him here. Now, seeing that they were barely polite, Lin Changqing decided to use courtesy before force. So he said, "I am not interested in what you are doing here, and I don't want to get involved. I came here just to hunt monsters and find spiritual medicines. I can search in a different direction and avoid the place where you are doing things. In this way, everyone can live in peace. How do you feel?" After hearing what Lin Changqing said, all the cultivators present secretly became alert. And the cultivator in the late stage of foundation building also had a cold face. He said coldly, "Fellow Taoist Gao, don't seek death. With so many people here, even if you are a foundation building cultivator, you will still die. Throw your storage bag and the spiritual weapon in your hand here immediately." When Lin Changqing heard this, he knew that it was difficult to persuade the damn ghost with kind words, and it seemed that killing was unavoidable. Chapter 373, If you don't take what God has given you, you will suffer the consequences. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart, but he decided to strike first, so he shook his head and said, "Sorry, everyone. Have a safe journey." Hearing him say this, everyone immediately became alert, and the 2 foundation building monks were even more decisive. They actually took action directly, but unfortunately they were in a dead end, and everything was too late. A circle of 36 purple rays suddenly shot out, and each key refining monk corresponded to 1 ray. They were the first to appear, and they were not arrogant. Each of them had 2 or 3 layers of defense shields, but they were useless for the defense of these key refining monks. The purple rays shot through directly, and no matter whether they were 2 or 3 layers, they were all directly broken and shot through their heads. In order not to make too much noise, Lin Changqing aimed at the head, so after 20 purple rays, 4 or 5 teams all fell straight down. As for the remaining 16 purple rays, the 2 foundation building monks each took 8, and they came later and did not open any defense at all. The middle-aged cultivator in the middle stage of the building period had his head pierced like a honeycomb, and he couldn't die anymore. The situation of the other cultivator in the late stage of the building period was better. When he encountered a surprise attack, a jade pendant he was wearing flashed with a 3-layer protective shield in front of him. But it only blocked 2 or 3 purple rays, and the remaining ones all hit his head. He also died without making any sound. At this time, a mournful cry suddenly came from the sky, and soon the sound of something falling to the ground was heard not far away. Through Chuai's feedback, it was known that it was an eagle-like monster that fell from a high altitude, and it immediately understood in its heart. It should be this eagle-like monster that discovered Lin Changqing, causing him to be surrounded by these people. But unfortunately, its master was killed by Lin Changqing, so it suffered a backlash in the sky and couldn't control itself and fell to death. But now is not the time to deal with it. Lin Changqing immediately cleaned up the battlefield. All the storage bags, spirit beast bags, magic tools, and spirit tools on these people were collected by him. Then he put all the 22 corpses on the ground into a large storage bag. Then he collected the blood and dirt on the ground and smoothed the traces at the scene. He scanned the scene patiently with his spiritual sense and confirmed that there was nothing missing. Only then did he feel relieved. Now he is very experienced. His purple crystal scorpion is a very powerful spiritual pet, but it also has some disadvantages. That is, every time they hit someone, they will make a very sharp and shrill scream, which is very easy to reveal his whereabouts. So now he lets the purple rays of the little guys hit the enemy's head, so that the opponent basically has no chance to make any sound. After confirming that there is no problem here, he immediately rushed to the place where the eagle monster fell. He also collected his body and searched for the human feathers scattered around several times with his spiritual sense, collecting all of them together. After confirming that there is no problem at the scene and that there is no way that he can be tracked, Lin Changqing was completely relieved. However, there is another problem in front of him, that is, whether he should take advantage of the fact that no one has discovered it and quickly get away from this place. It would be better to go ahead and take a look to see what they are doing here, which is worthy of such a tight defense, or even to mobilize a large army. After thinking for a while, he finally decided to go over and take a look. After all, he had killed so many of them, and he had to intervene even if he didn't want to. So he might as well go ahead and take a look to see what was going on. So he took out a gauze magic weapon from his storage bag and covered himself with it. Then he quickly moved towards the direction where the 2 foundation building monks came from. As for the purple crystal scorpion, there was no need to collect it. As soon as he thought about it, they would naturally follow. Moreover, Chuai and Chua above him had already found the 2 foundation building monks, and the place where they came was in the valley not far ahead. Lin Changqing was now moving towards there. Chuai and the others had already found the other 3 directions surrounding the valley. There were 3 to 4 5-man teams in each direction, monitoring and defending. It was estimated that the news of the annihilation of the whole army here could not be concealed for long. So he immediately sped up and soon arrived in the valley. In a place like the Qinghai Mountains, there are endless peaks, and naturally there are countless valleys. The valley he is in now is not particularly large, and it looks very common. There are at least 800 such valleys in the Qinghai Mountains, if not 1,000. If there is no special sign or a special person to lead the way, it is very difficult to find this small valley. Lin Changqing scanned it with his spiritual sense and immediately found that there was a relatively regular cave entrance at the bottom of the valley, and there were 4 key refining great perfection monks guarding it. At this sight, it was clear that the secret must be in the cave. Lin Changqing hesitated for a moment and decided to take the risk to go in and take a look. However, before entering, he still had to make a small preparation. With a thought, he left 12 purple crystal scorpions near the cave entrance, so that if necessary, he could ensure that no one would be blocked inside. He and the remaining 24 purple crystal scorpions quietly sneaked into the exit cave. As soon as he entered the cave, he roughly knew what was going on. This should be a monk's cave. Because a passage similar to the ancient monk's cave found in Jiang's secret realm appeared in front of Lin Changqing. Looking at the traces on the passage, it feels like it has at least a few hundred years of history, which makes him excited. After all, the ancient monk's cave last time brought him too much. The skills, magic weapons, and even the jade spring heart tea are all very precious things. In this case, there is nothing to say. In the competition for the Great Way, if you don't take what God gives, you will suffer. And it is estimated that the situation outside will soon be concealed. After all, they found out more about the situation. It is impossible not to communicate. After so long without news, they will definitely send someone to check. No one dared to delay time. With a thought, 24 purple crystal scorpions took the lead and rushed in directly, and Lin Changqing followed closely. The passage is only a few dozen feet long. Once you enter the cave, there is a large hall with an estimated area of 200 to 300 square meters. There are many fluorites inlaid on the wall, so the light in the hall is still very bright. Chapter 374 Tripod-shaped magical weapon. As soon as the 24 little guys entered, they habitually seized advantageous positions. When Lin Changqing entered the cave, he saw 3 foundation-building monks who were forcing a door, but there was a tough and soft light film on the door. Although the light film was fluctuating due to their beating, it was never broken. It seemed that the grade of this protective array should not be low. With a turn of his eyes, he saw 5 more doors on the surrounding walls, but they were all opened. He knew that if there was something inside, it should have been on them. So he didn't pay attention to the 5 rooms. Looking at their busy figures, Lin Changqing couldn't help sighing in his heart. It was really impossible to be in the rivers and lakes. And although Lin Changqing didn't know them, the hatred had been formed from the beginning. There was no way to settle it after killing so many of them. So let them end it all. With a thought, 24 purple light rays suddenly shot out, and 3 protective shields suddenly appeared on the body of a foundation-building monk. But that was all. The 3 of them fell straight down, and there were 3 more beehives on the ground, and some red and white things were sprayed everywhere. Several foundation-building monks were solved quietly like this. Lin Changqing didn't dare to waste time. He endured the discomfort and cleaned up the battlefield. He put the things on the 3 of them aside and didn't put them together with a pile of spoils just now. Then he immediately communicated with Lin Changqing in his heart, and several roots immediately appeared in the void and pierced directly onto the light film. There was only a sound like a bubble bursting, and after it sounded, the light film disappeared. Lin Changqing immediately opened the door and looked inside. He saw that there was a very large room inside, which was larger than the living room outside. And there was a huge magic circle in the middle, and there was a fist-sized tripod-shaped magic weapon, which was suspended in the center of the magic circle. And there was a cushion on the magic circle, proving that someone used to meditate and practice here. As soon as Lin Changqing stood at the door of the room, he immediately felt something different. The concentration of spiritual energy in the room was more than 10 times richer than that in the living room. He felt that it was almost the same as on Jiufeng mountain, but there was still no way to compare it with the retreat room on the main peak. So Lin Changqing immediately deduced that there was a second-level middle grade or even second-level upper grade spiritual vein here. This was the first time he found an ownerless spiritual vein. But unfortunately, there was no way to keep it for his own use, otherwise it would definitely be the result of constant disputes, so he had to give it up with pain. The huge magic circle in the middle, if I guessed correctly, should be a magic circle similar to the gathering spirit formation. It seems that the spiritual energy of the entire second-level spiritual vein should be concentrated to supply this tripod-shaped magic weapon, and the owner of the cave at that time should also practice here frequently. But Lin Changqing couldn't care so much now. He went in directly and took the tripod-shaped magic weapon in his hand, and stuffed it into the spirit beast bracelet without thinking. Unfortunately, he couldn't put it in after trying twice in a row. He immediately knew that this thing was also a space magic weapon, so he put it in his arms first. Then he put away the cushion on the magic circle. It hasn't rotted for so long, it should be considered a spiritual object, so he can let it go and put it away directly. But he was helpless with this huge magic array, and he didn't know how to put it away, so he had no choice but to give up. He scanned it twice with his spiritual sense, confirmed that there were no hidden secret compartments, and then left the room. Seeing that no one came in from outside, he walked through the other 5 rooms. Sure enough, nothing was left, only some garbage and ashes. After confirming that there was nothing missing in this cave except the magic array, Lin Changqing put away the 24 purple crystal scorpions, covered them with a light gauze magic weapon, and left the cave. The 4 key refining monks at the entrance of the cave didn't know that everyone inside had died, and they were still guarding this place. After hesitating for a while, Lin Changqing still didn't kill them. He didn't kill innocent people. Since they were not a threat and had never seen him, there was no need to take action. With a thought, he quickly left the valley with the 12 purple crystal scorpions that he had left outside. After arriving outside, he continued to move quickly in the direction that Jin Yi had just moved. He hadn't forgotten the purpose of coming here this time. He did not stop at the monsters and elixirs he encountered along the way, unless they were too precious. He quickly headed for his destination, and it took him about an hour to advance more than 100 miles. Then he released Jin Yi to let it confirm whether Lin Changqing had gone in the wrong direction. After communicating with Jin Yi, Lin Changqing corrected his direction and continued to move forward. He wanted to stay as far away from the valley as possible. Since he did not want to kill them, he had to stay away from the valley as soon as possible. It was not that Lin Changqing was afraid of them, but he just did not want to commit more sins of killing. He was covered with a light gauze magic weapon, and he walked and stopped for a day, and completed about 8 levels of the journey. After communicating with Jin Yi, he knew that he should be able to reach the new mineral vein tomorrow morning. At night, Lin Changqing found a more secluded place and released 36 purple crystal scorpions, letting them form 2 layers of early warning defense circle. Now it is estimated that it is thousands of miles away from the valley, and no one should chase after it. Lin Changqing was relieved. Then he began to sort out the spoils. He first took the storage bags of the 20 key refining cultivators and refined them one by one. Then he poured all the contents together. The contents of the 20 storage bags piled up in a big pile. Lin Changqing began to sort them out. First, there were about 30,000 spiritual stones. There were many magic tools, including medium and high-quality magic tools, and some top-quality magic tools. There were more than 100 of them. But the bad news was that except for a small number of top-quality magic tools, most of the others had a golden deformation mark, which should be the special mark of their family. But now Lin Changqing no longer looked down on these things. So he found a storage bag to collect them and threw them to Lin Changqing to absorb and digest them. The next thing was the elixir. There were also about 100 bottles, all of which were common elixirs, but the worst ones were all top-quality elixirs, which were much better than the quality of Lin Changqing's own refining. So he found another storage bag to put them in, and then he would see how to deal with them. Anyway, he didn't need them anymore, so he might as well give them to his sister. Chapter 375 Confirmation of Speculations. There were no manuals on martial arts, but there were a lot of practice notes and 200 or 300 J boxes of different sizes. However, he was not going to open them now, as it would be a waste of time. He would open them slowly when he had free time. The rest were clothes and sundries, as well as 20 cracked identity jade cards. Lin Changqing picked up 2 of them and looked at them. As he had guessed, they were all from the same family. The names of the 2 people on the jade cards were Jin Fuban and Jin Futing, and it seemed that they were both cultivators from the same Jin family. Put these identity jade cards and the sundries together in the storage bag where the magic tools were stored. When the time comes, throw them all into the deep pit and give them to Lin Changqing to recycle. In addition, the spirit beast bag was empty. It seemed that it should be used to hold the eagle-like monster. In this way, the spoils of the 20 key refining cultivators were all dealt with. The next part is the highlight. The storage bags of the 5 foundation building monks, including the harvest in the cave, should all be in these 5 storage bags. The storage bags of several foundation building monks are more difficult to sacrifice, but this is not difficult for Lin Changqing. He successfully sacrificed them after some time. He also poured out all the things, but did not pile them together. This was done to avoid mixing things up. First, he had to find something to confirm his guess. That was the identity jade cards of the 5 people. Soon he really found them. 5 more advanced identity jade cards were also covered with cracks. After looking at them one by one, he finally found what he wanted. The name engraved on this jade card was Jin Shichen, and his position was the patriarch of the Jin family. And the names on the other 4 identity jade cards were also surnamed Jin, and their positions were all elders. In other words, Lin Changqing may have captured all the high-end combat power of the Jin family. Although there is a great possibility that there are still 1 or 2 foundation building monks stationed in the Jin family's clan land. But even so, it is estimated that they have no ability to continue the investigation. The most important thing for the Jin family at this time should be to strive to maintain the family's inheritance. Other things are secondary. Even if the Jin family really wants to continue the investigation, it should be a cautious investigation in private, and they will never dare to publicize it. If their enemies know their details, they may really be taken advantage of to destroy their inheritance. Moreover, this kind of existence that can quietly wipe out their family's high-end combat power is definitely not something they can afford to fend now. So if he were a senior member of the Jin family, he would definitely act as if nothing happened, and then do his best to appease the clan members. And let all the clan members who participated in the action unify their caliber. Anyway, no matter what, they must maintain the family's inheritance. However, this is just Lin Changqing's own idea. How the Jin family should deal with the aftermath is not something he should consider. The only thing that can be confirmed now is that the Jin family's high-end combat power has been wiped out, and no one should chase them later. After confirming his guess, Lin Changqing was in a good mood. And then he began to sort out the 5 piles of spoils on the ground. First of all, there were spirit stones, which were the easiest to identify. There were about 80,000 low-grade spirit stones, and more than 50,000 low-grade spirit stones were found at the head of the Jin family. These were enough to directly buy a foundation-building pill. There were also more than 800 medium-grade spirit stones, most of which were also provided by the head of the Jin family. These were all collected by Lin Changqing and put into a storage bag for spirit stones. The next thing was the spiritual tools. There were 5 piles of spoils, plus the ones Lin Changqing collected on the battlefield, a total of 23 spiritual tools. Among them, there were 6 low-grade spirit tools, 8 medium-grade spirit tools, 6 high-grade spirit tools, and 3 top-grade spirit tools, 2 of which were top-grade defensive spirit tools, and 1 was a top-grade flying sword spirit tool. In addition, at the head of the Jin family, he found 20 to 30 magic weapons, medium-grade, high-grade, and even top-grade magic weapons. It is estimated that they should be used by their patriarch to reward the clan members. There is also good news, that is, except for a small number of medium and low-grade spiritual weapons, there are special marks of the Jin family. All the high-grade and top-grade spiritual weapons do not have the logo of the Jin family, which means that the weapon refiner of the Jin family can only refine medium and low-grade spiritual weapons. It is not possible to refine high-grade spiritual weapons now, and Lin Changqing can use these spiritual weapons without marks. But after thinking about it, he gave up. After all, if these spiritual weapons are left to his family, there is still a little danger of exposure. There is no need to drag the family into danger for these spiritual weapons, so think about it and forget it. These will be left in the inner space, and then they will be used by Su Miniang or Zhao Linyu. They still don't have a decent spiritual weapon in their hands. Of course, he will definitely use some of them himself. At least the 2 top-grade defensive spiritual weapons are good, and Lin Changqing also likes the top-grade wood flying sword. After refining these 3 spiritual tools at a certain time, he would keep them for his own use. After all, he liked this kind of top-grade spiritual tool that could automatically defend himself the most. Whoever fights with Lin Changqing at that time would be so angry that he would vomit blood when he saw him instantly casting dozens of protective shields. He also collected all the visible pills, a total of 40 or 50 bottles, and opened them one by one to check. Basically, they were all pills used by cultivators in the foundation building period. The most common ones were pills for improving cultivation, which accounted for at least half of them. The remaining pills were for healing injuries, restoring mana, and there were also several red pills that needed to be stored separately and had a very violent aura. They were probably the violent spirit pills used when fighting desperately. Lin Changqing had a little impression of this kind of pill. After thinking about it, he knew how to arrange it. All these pills for improving cultivation should be taken to the inner space and given to Su Miniang and Zhao Linyu. As for the pills for healing injuries and restoring mana, they were placed in the storage bag for his own use. The remaining few red violent spirit pills, which were used to fight desperately, should be put away for the time being. After using this violent spirit pill, it will greatly consume the physical potential of the cultivator. And it will cause a huge obstacle to future advancement. Anyway, he will not use it casually even if he is beaten to death. The next 3 things are probably what they got in the cave. A black but very exquisite hairpin, a 3-inch long blue flying sword, and an antique alchemy furnace. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.